Welcome to 1:30 AM with Christian von Carmian. We have only the softest of voices, the warmest of blankets, and a very small amount of what could be described as ASMR. Hello. Welcome. Can you all hear me okay? I hope the sound is working. I can't really talk any louder than this on account of that would be breaking noise laws. Okay, wonderful. It is good to see so many of you. It does keep surprising me that there's like, oh yeah, here's nearly 100 people wanting to find out what I have to say about the Warhammers. All of the Warhammers. Yeah, I've got my blanket. It is very cold at nearly 2 AM at this time that it is in this country where I'm at. Oh. But we have much to discuss before the Warhammer Adepticon reveal, which may be taking place at Adepticon, which is in United States, I think. So we'll be going through what I'm expecting, what might happen, and then we'll actually see. Because it may be another big names are coming. Something chaos. Or it could be something entirely boring. It could be both. Be like, wow, that sure is some chaos stuff. And that's all we have to say. Like, ooh, it's a noise marine with slightly different trim, and now it's suddenly a different unit. No, not Chaos Sisters. I very much doubt it is Chaos Sisters. So we'll be doing the Can We Stay Awake challenge. I have biscuits, I have water, I have a blanket. That should be all good. We can wait and see what kind of Space Marine Lieutenant comes up. So I hope you enjoyed joining me in the Staying Awake challenge. I am curious what time of day it is where you are. It is, as I say, 1:30 in the morning. It is very lucky I am a vampire. Otherwise, yeah, this would be considered an inconvenience. Thank you for the monies, Lord Piecrust. I'll not change anything around to have that in front, but I'll just move my head. Thank you for the £5.41. No, see, these are perfectly reasonable times, like, oh yeah, it's the afternoon in Australia. It is 9:30 at night, or 8:30 at night. Hello, Home Slice, who is in a time zone 1 hour before a lot of other United States and Canadian people. See, they're all reasonable times, but yeah, you'd think, okay, it is Games Workshop, the British company. Which time will they want their stream to start in the UK? Oh, you know, after midnight. That's fine. They're saying it's going to be live, but what we may get is the same thing as what we normally get with these live streams, which is not really a live stream. It's a series of pre-recorded sections strung together. There's one person who is probably also pre-recorded saying, and now we're going to look at the new Elves from Warhammer Fantasy, and now we're going to look at the new Dark Elves in Warcry. But this time, there's no Warcry as far as I know. Thank you for the gifted membership. It was, hang on, I just had it up. The things that they said were coming. Now you shouldn't be able to hear that. Yeah, that's good, that's good. I will need to turn the sound on before it actually starts, but they have Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, which we know may also just be Warhammer 40,000. because the way they've been running Kill Team this edition is, oh yeah, almost all of these boxes are valid for Warhammer 40,000. And so that is your Warhammer 40,000 release. So if you play World Eaters, the 8 guys with the funny legs may be your new Warhammer 40,000 unit, and that's about it. But I've got some more things to mention from World Eaters. There is some stuff for the old world, but that's it. So 4 things: 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, and Old World. Yeah, they won't do Dark Elves. Dark Elves are legends, and at a Warhammer Old World tournament, it's like a really big thing, the biggest one that was held, in 10 years, that tournament said, we allow legends, which is, how most people play games. But this meant also allowing Skaven, Vampire Counts, Dark Elves, the armies that I have, that are in Legends, and Games Workshop was not pleased. And Games Workshop did not live stream, advertise, or mention this because they dared to use models no longer sold by Games Workshop. Most annoying for them. Alright, so what I'm expecting, we've seen that there's a brood nesty thing. If you saw the thumbnail of this live stream, it had the brood nest on. Otherwise, where is it? Yeah, I will put the article in the chat. So if you wanted to look at the community article about this live stream, you could. That has a picture of what I am describing as a Tyranid brood nest, because the Tyranid brood nest previously, which looks very similar, was a Forge World model that came out in about 6th edition. It was part of the Imperial Armor book series, the Anphilon project, which was about a bunch of Tyranid creatures that were separated from the hive mind, and the Imperium, well, tech priests, it's always the Mechanicum, was trying to breed them and see what happens with them. And unsurprisingly, they got loose because of maybe a gene cult, though there weren't any Genestealer cults as an army at that time. And then we got to see what Tyranids did when they're not part of the hive mind, when they have just instinctive behavior, which was really cool. And it was the same sort of thing: eat, breed, eat some more, standard stuff. Aren't we supposed to be seeing new model releases? Yes, they will be coming up, so I'm expecting this brood nest to be part of a Kill Team expansion set. So it'll have 2 Kill Teams with it, probably. One of them is likely to be a Tyranid focused thing. I don't think they'll do Genestealers. They could be Genestealers. It would be kind of disappointing if they were Genestealers, because the Genestealers had a new plastic kit in 2023. What it could be instead is Termagants. Termagants can make a very nice kill team. They have a shard launcher, they have their other special weapons, so that's viable as a, hey, there's a bunch of different things. You can have some with flesh borers, some with spine fists, some with devourers. They can add back in cosmetic adrenal glands and it works in kill team. Or they could do a new Tyranid warriors or shrikes. If you don't know what a shrike is, it's a Tyranid warrior with wings. And since we already have the winged prime, there is the leader for the Tyranid shrikes. It would be a simple matter of updating it. Yes, the Tyranid warriors could use a refresh. I mean, I have a bunch of Tyranid warriors. I have the 2nd edition ones and the 4th edition ones in plastic. I didn't realise there'd been newer ones since then because they look basically identical. This is going to have an opponent. We don't know what that could be, but I'm hoping Catachans. It would be a great opportunity to update the 1990s horrifying models. Because the models that came out in the 1990s looked worse than the metal ones that were released at the same time, but it was like the first steps into a plastic range. which is then how they've gone in future, and yes, the plastic stuff is better than metal. So with a Catachan unit, you could have updated rules, updated weapon options, and then all you need to do is release an updated datasheet exactly the same as they did with the Rattlings. Ooh, Catachan refresh would almost tempt you into collecting Guard. It's gonna be expensive though. It'll be £40 for 4 models, no, 10 models, £4 a model. That's a lot. But they could go that way. At the moment, I'm still waiting on a Sanctifier Missionary Kill Team, 40k rules. I'm waiting to see the sprue. Allegedly, they are multi-part, so you may be able to have the non-hero looking ones with like a hand flame and a chainsaw each. So that could be cool. That could be cool. I don't think there'll be another big Tyranid since they released the non-emissary a year and a half ago, and that's pretty big. A bit bigger than a Wraith Lord. So we're expecting a thing for Kill Team, and I'm expecting it to be based around this Tyranid's brood nest, as I can't imagine Games Workshop is going to say, okay, how about we do terrain? We'll release more terrain kits. That's, that would be an interesting option if they went with another terrain kit after they've basically given up on fortifications in this edition. Was there, oh yeah, we have the Aegis defense line, we have the Hammerfall bunker, they're still around, but they don't do much in game. I know we have the statue from the new Kill Team that isn't actually out yet. Is it out? It might be out. It was pre-orders last week. That's it. So if you want to pre-order it, I believe there are links in the description of this video with, yes, the discount stuff. I think Wargames Portal is out of them. Firestorm Games in the UK, Gap Games in Australia, and may still have them. Otherwise it comes out, I think, early April-ish. They usually do 2 weeks pre-order. I enjoyed the Hammerfall bunker at the start of the edition when it got to do Overwatch for free, like as many times as you want. You just put it on a flank, it can maybe see 2 areas, and anything that goes there gets hit by a lot of heavy bolters. So that was fun. Yeah, faction terrain, I can't see it becoming as much of a staple as it is in Age of Sigmar. Or at least as much of it as it was in Age of Sigmar 3rd edition. I haven't played much of 4th edition, it just hasn't grabbed me. And I've had Old World to play instead, which is what I don't know about prefer, but it's what I remember and enjoy. So we're gonna get changes, well they've said Chaos, and we know that the next 3 codexes to come out are World Eaters, the Thousand Suns, and the Death Guard. The combat patrols, because I was looking at the combat patrols earlier today, and they've all disappeared from the Games Workshop website, so they're not there. So that suggests new combat patrols, which we expected anyway. So the World Eaters may get an expanded range, or you could just get the 8 Goremongers from the Kill Team, maybe a character. They kept doing vague mentions of like, oh yeah, what about these Berserker Surgeons? But it could be anything. They may just want to say, this is a thing in the lore and we're telling you about the lore because there isn't any model for it. But that's an idea. We're waiting on the release of the Emperor's Children Combat Patrol because at the moment you can only buy the army box, so you can't get flawless blades. I think you can get all the other units, but not flawless blades. So if you see lots of competitive lists that are playing Emperor's Children Codex, none of them are taking flawless blades, not because they're bad, but because they can't get the models. I have played against the new Emperor's Children. They're quite fun with their advance and charge and fall back and charge. I think they get both. My opponent was playing with both, so I just trusted them on that. But the Flawless Blades have a very cool ability. They can get anti-everything 3+, but if they fail to kill an enemy model, one of them dies. So you can run up and stab a tank, like a really big tank, like a Land Raider, or a Baneblade and say, okay, I'm gonna wound it on a 3+ with my AP -2 swords, and then one of my guys is gonna die. Ooh, the Crusade rules are good. Oh yeah, they go drug hunting. Yeah. So Emperor's Children competitive list are looking weird, so if you see them and like, oh yeah, they're doing okay, there's gonna be missing a few units. I mean, I think the range generally is missing a few units. They don't have Predators, I don't think. They don't have Hellbrutes, I don't think. They don't have Defilers, which is an obvious missing. They don't have any Cultists, which seems odd. You would expect there to be Cultists. When it comes to the Thousand Suns Combat Patrol, the previous one we got was Combat Patrol Zangors. Now, depending on what comes out next, we may consider Zangors to have been the better one, and it may look good in comparison. Ooh, what Genestealer Cult detachment should you go to as a beginner? I would say Host of Ascension. It is the most Genestealer Cult detachment that plays off having lots of things come from Deep Strike, so you get used to the army and the army rule. So I would recommend Host of Ascension. I have a video on it. It's a good one. You just got your first credit card, want to know what you're getting. I mean, you don't have to buy the things from this reveal, but you could. Yeah. Emperor's Children, World Eaters, and Thousand Suns may be better as Codex supplements. I mean, I agree. I think they would be. Death Guard had a bit more of an expansion. So talking about the Death Guard Combat Patrol, that was Combat Patrol Zombies with Typhus. So the new character model you get, because everyone gets a new character model when their codex comes out, Death Guard hardly need another character, but we know they're getting Lord of Poxes. I'm very sleepy because it's 10 to 2 in the morning. So we're definitely in sleepy mode. So I think they may show off general things for Chaos, because they said Chaos and big names are coming. So I don't know if we'll get any new models. Is the Araman model in like due an update? If that's been around for a while, which it might have been, then we may get a new Araman looking weirdly fancy. Is Brood Brothers Auxiliary bad if you want to play focused on shooting? I have been enjoying Brood Brothers Auxilia. It's a fun list. It's just not competitive at all, and you have one stratagem you might use. Yeah. So it's okay. If you want to focus on shooting, Host of Ascension is better, but if you want tanks, then you do the Brood Brothers, and you can have fun with it. Whatever's more fun for you. So I'm expecting this is what's coming next for Emperor's Children. The Thousand Suns, the Death Guard, will mention what their combat patrols are. There'll be a new kill team set, and you know, that might be it. Yeah. New demon sculpts? I don't think so, because they're not going to do a demon codex. Many of the demon units will be part of the new books, but probably in much the same way as the Emperor's Children has Slaanesh units. So it was like, hey, here's some of the units that you can use in one of the detachments. I don't think there's been any mention of Votan, not yet. They may come much later. If there was anything else, then it would be like Knights, or it could be Grey Knights, just to be Knights. Thank you, Sean. I was thinking there was something else I was thinking. Oh yes, the drill thing we saw. It's probably not a Genestealer Cult thing. It may be part of a kill team, or what it could be is like a Thousand Suns automata, something like they had in 30k, but a 40k version. I don't think there'll be any Genestealer Cult updates. I mean, they vaguely called this a data slate, but I think that's just because they like the word data slate. It better not be Primaris Centurions. They will not reduce Primaris Centurions. I mean, I don't know if I just end the stream if Primaris Centurions come on. Is that just it? Am I done? I don't know if they'll do an emergency nerf of orcs today, because the Adepticon tournament started a few hours ago. So that means that there is a tournament underway with the Mordaka detachment, which I did a video on yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on your time zone. It's very powerful. It's expected to win big at Adepticon. Yeah, they added a new orc detachment because it was a theme that was missing, and they're having fun making detachments. One other thing they could show off is we are rapidly approaching, I think, the 20th anniversary of the war in Armageddon. Thank you, Tonlito. I'll get to your question in a second. So we may get, like, the next mission deck is Armageddon mission deck, or Nakmud mission deck, because I think we're due a mission deck about now. PDF kill team announced. That would be kind of cool, but I think they're going to focus on more general, no, not more general, more specific Imperial Guard units. So it'll be Katachans, it will be, hey, maybe they'll do Steel Legion, but I don't think they do Steel Legion when they've just done Krieg, and the Krieg Marines only existed because they were Steel Legion models, but slightly different. Loyalist Beastmen, I don't think we'll get because we have one unit of Chaos Beastmen, and if it was going to be in Kill Team, that would mean you could have Beastmen versus Beastmen, and I don't think they'll want that. I think New Demons is unlikely because they're not going to do a Codex Demons. They're just going to have the Index Demons as it is, which now has 6 detachments in it. One for each god, a General one, and a Shadow Demon one led by Be'lakor, which can have some Chaos Marines in it. So I don't think there'll be any new demon models, because there hasn't been any new Deathwatch models, and as living indexes, I don't think they're going to get an update. Okay. So there may be a new mission deck at some point. Catgirl Astra Militarum. I mean, they exist. Oh, I don't think they're going to do any rules changes at this time. But yeah, the Pariah Nexus mission deck has been sold out. There's some people in my gaming group who don't have it. There's a tournament coming up that's like, you need your own Pariah Nexus deck, and so many people are like, I haven't got it. Hopefully we can share. New infantry unit for Genestealer Cult. Familiars like Grots? That's an option. Welcome, Sean. Welcome to being a Von Carmian supporter. No, I don't think there'll be anything Genestealer Cult related today. But give it 3 months and there may be another Genestealer Cult detachment, and they may just redo the Cult Ambush rule once more. Wonderful. Thank you for giving out 10 gifted memberships. Ooh, there's a chance that Catgirl Sororitas exist. Well, you can buy the models. Is it Anvil? Or is it Victoria Minis? One of them. Yeah, anyone who has a printer and a copy of them has been printing those cards just so people can use the deck. I don't know why they're not in like a White Dwarf. And then also, I mean, because it's such few cards changed from like Leviathan to Pariah Nexus. But we'll see what we get. Okay, the Adepticon thing is starting soon. So if I turn that on, there we are. Then we have that ready for starting soon. Let me just change up the shape of that. And I'll get it so you can hear it. Now, I'm assuming that is currently louder than me, so if I just tone that down quite a bit. There we go. Right. I'll turn the music off because I know the thing they do is like they put a bunch of copyrighted music at the start, and then when the stream actually starts, I'll unmute it so you can hear it. I'm not staying up late, I'm staying up early. If you're using armagers in Sororitas, I mean, you can go Helverin or Warglaves. I prefer Warglaves because of the Melter theme. Ooh, okay. They have some faces being shown off. Yeah, it looks like Tyranid warriors, some kind of Thousand Suns automaton or Terminator, a World Eater man. That looks like a space wolf, worryingly. Something elf looking for Warhammer Fantasy, and I don't know, Servitors, but we don't really do Servitor things except in like 30k. Yeah, they leaked themselves. Well, we're gonna see the reveals and then we can talk through them. I can't imagine they're gonna do Doom Rider now. I think Doom Rider is past. He was around in 3rd edition and didn't really go on. I think it's around 45 minutes that it usually lasts. So we'll see how long I can also last. So Doom Rider not confirmed. Definitely not confirmed. Oh, wonderful, James. Thank you very much. I don't think there'll be Celestians with guns, but we can hope. And Karandra, since they just put him in Legends, I don't think they're about to take him out. Is Doom Rider dead canonically? I would love to see a reference to that. Like a source. Source, please. Yeah, okay, maybe if they did, like, they redid the Chaos Bikes, because the Chaos Bike models are rather old. Yeah, they're from the 90s, I think. They may have done an upgrade sprue since to get a Power Fist, because the ones I got had 2 head options. A chainsword option? No, they didn't have a chainsword option. I got that from the other Chaos Marine set. Yeah. Reference to Doom Rider's Folly, I see. Oh, yes, of course. Anyone that went to Legends or doesn't have a model, Trazen has them. Of course. Are we still good? Okay, just my stream is frozen for me. That's fine. I still see the chat moving. Is it coming on soon? I assume it's coming on soon. Here we are.
The Warhammer Live preview show coming to you from Nottingham. My name's Nick. This is Alex. We're really excited to be with you this evening.
Can you hear that okay?
So much stuff to show people, right?
Yep, I'm incredibly excited. We've got stuff from Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer the Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, and the Old World.
Oh, it's going to be great. That's all coming up very soon. Now, this weekend we are celebrating it, of course, as Adepticon over there in America, in Milwaukee. If you're there at the event, hello. You may have already seen some of the stuff we're about to show you already, but keep quiet for now. Great to have you here.
There we go.
And of course, there's folks all around the world. Please let us know in the chat where you are. And in fact, this evening we're helped out because we are live. You can ask us questions. We have Ed over in Question Corner. Ed, how are you doing? Right?
They are actually live.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If you've got any questions, do start with question right at the beginning and it will help me filter out to try and see what everyone wants to ask.
Now, crucially, that is in the Twitch chat only. I know we're on YouTube as well, but if you're in Twitch, please put your questions in there. We'll try to get as many of those as we possibly can as the show goes on. Now, we have so much to show you this evening.
Well,
In
let's
fact,
see some
we're
of
gonna
the
give you a quick
stuff.
glimpse right now.
Oh, we're doing a teaser for the teaser. Great, of course, that's what we needed. Yep, there's the Poxlordy man. That's a horse or something. I saw some legs. It doesn't matter, we'll get to it soon enough.
There's lots of cool stuff there.
You've seen us, you've seen the sizzle reel. It's now time to jump straight into the old world with the Wood Elf realms.
Here we go.
Yeah, so the Wood Elves are the defenders of Athel-Doran.
Okay.
It's a highly elite force, lots of cavalry, lots of archers. You get a fantastic battalion, as well as their arcane journal, which contains all the lore background.
Wood elves? I like wood
We've got
elves.
Orion in there.
I don't
Loads
like
of
to
fantastic
play wood
stuff.
elves,
Yeah,
and I don't
absolutely
want
elite army
another
on the tabletop.
Warhammer
These
army.
guys are superb at shooting you off the table. Yeah, and Alex is absolutely right.
They can do some
What he
shenanigans there
said
to
there, we've
change
also
it
got the
so that
hero here, the
one of
Arrow
their
Lord of Pelton as
special
well. He's coming
abilities was
alongside
like
the Wood
having
Elves.
one of the magic
This
powers,
guy,
and they always
was
just
a
like
coward in his youth, right?
moved
Yes, he was a
forward,
cowardly youth,
threw a
however,
magic
having
power
learned
through the
force,
spell out,
found an elf
so
quest
you
to
can't
do.
get towards them without going
He
over
used
dangerous
courage
terrain, and then they'd
eventually
run
went
away.
on to slay Morga the Corruptor.
A superb Lord level
Yeah.
hero for your Wood Elf forces. This guy carries his bird into battle. Scaran the Eye Thief there can be sent across the battlefield to peck the eyes out of your enemies, which is great fun. And of course,
Okay.
alongside the
I mean, I
the
assume
Arcane
that
Journal,
bird is a
which
ranged
coming
attack.
for the Wood Elves, just like it does for every other army.
I wonder if the
48
two of them are
page book
in
dedicated
like
to
the
Wood
United
Elves with
States, and so
background,
it's not
rules,
actually 2 a.m.
historical
They'll
recreations,
get some
right
like
in there.
weird
New
pay,
heroes,
unless
we've
I
got
don't know.
Orion, King of
Does
the
United
Woods
States have
returns,
like if
leading
you're
his
working
wild
after
hunt on
8
the
p.m.
Arms
you
of
get
Infamy
extra
there,
money?
As well as
Ooh,
magic
okay. Oh, that's the
items,
old Orion model.
new
I thought that was a
units
new
which you
one.
can take
They
as
got
well
my
to
hopes up
convert
for a
into other
moment.
units that exist. I tell you what, Alex, I'm super excited about the
Comes
fact
with
that
dogs.
Beast packs are returning to the Wood Elf realms. You'll be able to field units of Deepwood Hounds, Forest Cats, Sylvan Boars, and even a Bear of Lauren. So you can have a bear running around the Wood Elf army. That sounds great.
Brilliant.
So there
Okay.
we are.
You
We don't
mentioned
get to
beasts,
see the Bear of
Wood Elves
Lauren.
aren't the only things that are coming
course.
to the
No.
old world. We've got the Beastmen Brayherds returning.
So the Beastmen
likewise,
models are the same
fantastic
models as
battalion
before,
there,
but
stocked
back.
full of everything you could
If
think
you
of
want to
as a
have
war.
them, so it doesn't look like any kind of refresh.
Absolutely right. Yeah, the Beastmen, of course, a wild force in Warhammer: The Old World. Super powerful. Lots of cheap infantry running around
Lots
all
of
over the
cheap
table,
infantry is
and
not
some
what you
terrifying
want
monsters
because
as
the
well.
price is not
and there's
that.
a brand new miniature coming for them as well. We've seen this one before. This is Kralmor, Prophet of Ruin. Tell me about this guy. Who is
So
he?
the Beastmen.
Oh
look
yeah, they've
quite
shown off that
different.
model before.
However, if you are mystical, magical, you tend to
Got a
be
little
given
fantasy
bit of
man on a
easy ride. They love that.
stick.
Kralmor is a prophet. He can, see the future,
Mhm.
which has allowed him to stay one
So
step
now
ahead of his
immediately the
enemies.
Twitch
We've
chat is
mentioned
saying,
Orion
so
before,
are
of
we
course, we've
getting
got
these
hunting
in
him.
Age of
However, has
Sigmar?
been
Are
unsuccessful.
we not?
He's a powerful
And
level
obviously
4
not,
wizard,
because
and
they're
that
like,
mirroring
no,
spirit,
get rid of them. They
comes
don't
into battle.
last
He's placed
in
on the
Age of
battlefield to
Sigmar.
cast devolving magic at enemies from afar, which is quite good.
Yeah,
fun.
cheap
Now,
in
it's worth
points,
pointing out both the
expensive
Wood
in
Elves
money.
and the
Yeah,
Beastmen
chaff
have
infantry.
huge
Basically,
ranges accompanying them. We've
the
just shown you
Gauls
selection
are
here.
at best
So
regular
don't expect
infantry.
just
They
this.
don't
There's
even
loads
measure
more
up to
coming as
Orc
well.
boys,
And of
which
course,
are
we've got the
pretty
Arcane
naked.
Journal for the Beastmen Brayherds. Again, big
No
book
extra
full
pay
of
after 8.
lore,
Oh, that's
full
sad.
of
In
great maps. You like a map? Alex,
one
you really
extra
do.
dollar
We've got
per hour.
historical recreations.
That's like
Kralmor taking on some
60p
Empire men
extra.
troopers,
Yeah.
new units, new heroes in there, new magic. You can take a herd stone.
I mean,
for
they're
your force as
describing a
well.
lot of
Look,
stuff,
if you're
but
a
I'm just
Beastmen
looking
fan,
at a
you want to get this book.
picture of like
That's great. Now,
an
Alex,
arcane journal.
people kind of knew that Wood Elves and Beastmen were on the way because they were the last two forces that were going to happen.
Okay.
But there's one force that people might not be expecting.
So now, are we doing Cathay or Kislev? Cathay?
Grand Cathay
Yeah, Grand
is among
Cathay.
the oldest civilizations
So if you
in the
played
world.
Warhammer Total War 3, then you may have played as Cathay, although this may be like half a release, and you'll get 4 units. And that'll be about it. But it's cool they're finally doing Cathay, because there was
Under
a lot
the
of
watch
mentions
my
to them
father, Sen
in
Yang,
the old
Celestial
world stuff,
Dragon
but
Emperor,
never really came to
Grand
anything.
Cathay stands as a bulwark of harmony against the forces of darkness.
They have a great wall in the north.
Now, as the
They have
hordes
the
of
ogres
chaos
around them.
threaten to breach our sacred battlements,
Okay.
this haven of order prepares for war. Upon the walls of the great bastion are mustered countless soldiers, ingenious war machines, and
That's
other
a
more
cannon?
esoteric
Yeah?
defenders who stand ready, determined to hold back the tide.
Okay.
Resolutely,
I see a lot of these being
I
3D
perform the
printed really,
duty
really soon.
bestowed on me by my divine father centuries ago.
Oh, they've got the flying balloons.
Through devout study of the twin powers of yin and yang,
Horsemen.
I master
Dragons.
the elements and summon lightning
Good.
from the heavens, striking our foes and inspiring.
Let's see what
all
actual
those who
units come
fight
out,
to
because, you know,
rule
this is a nice
my
trailer.
path.
We like that. The Genestealer Cult trailers have been the most hype. But let's see what actual models come out and how soon, and if it's like, oh, we're doing a little release, and then a year later a bit more.
This is Grand Cathay, our eternal empire.
Okay, an Eternal Empire drag. There's some models. Basic infantry with shields, cavalry, a pretty standard cannon. I like the balloon. That's a big model. Got your dragons, got your big walkie men. I can't remember what the big walkie men are called. They're
That is
battle.
amazing. I
Wow.
have genuine goosebumps
Wow.
after watching it.
What a video. What a range.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. So, Grand Cathay is here, marching into the old world. Alex, who are the Grand Cathay?
So Grand Cathay is one of the oldest civilizations in the world of legend. They've stood as sort of an eternal bulwark against the evils of the world. It's a land of cities, farms, great mountains, and it's had a sort of internal stability and harmony that the other nations tend to be in a level
Okay.
of turmoil because it's ruled by dragons,
What?
namely.
Yeah,
the
those are
celestial
really big
dragon
knights.
Emperor himself.
I'm calling them
As
knights.
you
It's
can imagine,
Warhammer
carrying a
knights.
more
It's a
than
giant stone giant.
That's such a what a
The
great
great
idea,
stone
concept for a
dragon.
force, and it's a very different army. to
Gonna
what
go
we've
fetch
now seen in
Mulan.
Warhammer, the old world. They are an elite army, heavily armed and heavily armored. Even the basic troops are super elite.
Okay.
There's a mixture of troops,
So
cavalry, war
they're not
engines,
doing a horde.
terrifying monsters.
They're
and
doing
we're gonna
heavy
go through a few
infantry.
of them now.
Very
Because
good.
The battalion box set, which we see here, is what a great scope of miniatures we've got in front of us. And first and foremost, let's talk about the infantry.
Yeah, yeah,
Alex, the
terracotta
Jade
Ushabti,
Warriors,
essentially.
Who are they?
So the Jade Warriors are the well-equipped sort of core of a city's army. So they're known as the Jade
Yeah,
Warriors.
it looks a lot like
because,
Kings of War,
that
is what I'm
stone is
thinking.
sacred to the
So
Dragon
maybe
Emperor.
you want to
It's
buy
meant
some
represent
Kings
sort
of
the
War. That's
impeccable
an
nature
option.
of the
Hey,
Empire.
maybe those
They've
affiliate
pole
links in
arms,
the
heavy
description
armor,
have some
shields,
Kings
they're
of War that they
formidable in
sell.
attack, but defense is
I
where
haven't
strength
checked
comes from.
recently, but they may.
You're absolutely right, and that's reflected in the rules as well. These guys have their all defensive stance, where if they remain stationary, they can re-roll ones in the combat phase on their saves, which is cool. Really cool thing to point out in this box set.
Yeah,
as well,
it looks pretty
is that
good.
while you can build every single model with lots of different variations,
If there's a
one of the
firework
great
shooter,
varieties
then
of
the
Jade
Empire
Warriors
got
that
there
is
first
every
with their
model
rocket
can choose a
batteries.
male or a female head as well, so you can have all your Jade Warriors can be female or male, up to you, which is really really cool.
Okay.
But they're not
A lot
just
of
anything.
heads.
They've got so maybe the anvil of the army is the Jade Warriors, but let's talk about the Jade Lancers, the cavalry. These guys are special.
So yeah, if the
I
Jade
see,
Warriors
so
are
their
shield,
plan is
these
just to
guys
put
are
the word
spears. The
Jade in
Knights of the
front of
Celestial
everything.
Host,
So
they're
Jade
experienced in
Warriors,
battle and
Jade
drawn
Cavalry,
the most
Jade
disciplined and skilled
Knights,
soldiers of
Jade
the great
Balloon.
cities. I mean, the wealthier cities can raise, multiple regiments of these guys, but most can, manage at least one. On the battlefield, basically, they are able to charge and annihilate the enemy. They specialize in sort of getting through the narrow
Very
passages
nice.
and alleyways of the cities to counterattack.
They're absolutely devastating cavalry, Alex. On the charge, these guys can fight in an extra rank with their Cathayan lancers, so that makes them super hitty.
Okay, 2
And
ranks
also the
for it.
Cathayan
Very
counterblast
nice.
rule lets this unit follow up from combat.
So
and
it's
counters charging
not
next
quite
turns. This will go
Britonia,
straight through units
but
into the enemy.
basically
They are
Britonia.
absolutely devastating.
Yeah, they could be
but
pretty
you
good
don't wanna get
Guard,
too
Imperial
close to your
Guard
opponent like the Jade
conversions if you
Lancers
wanted
do.
Rough
Maybe you might
Riders.
fancy, taking
It's
some
a
of the
different Rough
artillery
Rider,
pieces
but that
as well.
works.
Check these out.
Oh yeah,
What
that's
we got?
missiles.
So all along the Great Bastion,
Dragon
you've got rocket
missiles.
launchers and cannons of all sizes.
So
the
it's going to be
rocket
like a
launchers,
smoothbore
the
cannon
fire ring
or
rocket battery
rockets.
might
Yeah.
be a little bit inaccurate, but they're incredibly deadly, launching explosives.
Yeah, the
great
horse
distances.
drums. I saw the
So
horse
this,
drums. They look pretty good.
fire ring rocket battery
And yeah, they
is a
have ogres
portable
manning the
version
cannons
of the
because
war
the
machine. It's
ogres live
created by
nearby.
disciples of the House of Smoke and Powder, who specialise in the manufacturing of gunpowder. You'll notice gunpowder features very heavily with Grand Cathay. So many cannon also exist.
Very
But
nice.
the foremost is the Cathayan Great Cannon. Many of these are forged in Nangao, and they've got that wonderful dragon head shaped on the front.
Horse
One of my favourite
Celestians.
things about this kit
This
is
may
that
be all
look.
we get in
This is some
terms of
great character
horses.
pieces in the Overloader. It is
I
actually
don't
an
think there's
upgrade
going to
for
be any more
for the
horses.
for the artillery piece in terms of the rules. He helps protect your artillery piece with
Well,
gunpowder
we'll see what...
bombs.
I can understand why
help
they're
the
doing
cannon
like
move
the Age of
faster by
Sigmar
lugging
stuff
it
and the,
along,
well,
and also can
Warhammer
allow us
stuff
to shoot
first.
twice, once per game in one
Because
phase,
then
which
it's
I
like,
think is
oh,
really
okay, this is
impressive
the
with the Ode of
boring bit
Sigmar.
first.
The Grand Cannon you see
Then
here
it's next.
does such
How can you gift
devastating damage, has
memberships?
thunderous impact
At the
on the
bottom
shots
of the
slowing
chat,
down
there is a
units
money
nearby where
symbol,
the shot
which
landed,
says show your
firing
support for
rocket
Von
batteries, which use
Carmian.
multiple
If you
different,
click that, there's an
types of
option for
ammunition,
membership
depending on whether it's
gifting.
for big targets or for big units. It can do what it wants. My favourite detail, house I've got to point out on this picture. Check out the guy at the back with the sort of the bamboo rocket who's smoking a pipe right next to the rocket.
That's brave.
There's a
hero, what
man
a hero.
smoking a pipe.
Love this stuff.
Interesting.
But that's the
Oh,
models we
yes.
see in the battalion. But we've also got some other stuff as well. This is
See,
the
that's a
Sky
good use of a
Lantern.
flying
That is-
stand.
So this is a
That
beautiful
works
centerpiece
with the
miniature.
lantern.
It's an intricately decorated construction of paper and silk and held aloft by a caged vermilion warbird.
It
with
looks
basically
nice. It's,
burning wings
I
and
mean, I
a
assume it's
waterfall
very
tail and
fragile
intricate
when
beak.
it's going to be on the
crew then sit in
tabletop.
an armoured gondola and they're able to direct it using those
An
sails on the
armoured
side.
gondola.
It's a wonder of
Interesting.
Cathay and ingenuity. If you're the
It
Dalek
looks
on
like an
one side
Age
and
of
Grand Cathay
Sigmar
on the
model
other,
more than a
you've got
40k
the
model,
best
and
engineers.
than an
You'll
old
see
world
in
model.
that gondola, you've
This
got
is the
a
sort of
Lord
thing you'd
Magistrate
think,
of
oh yeah,
strategist,
yeah,
and
that's
these are the commanders
definitely
of cities and the institutions of Grand Cathay.
what you're going to see in
Tend
an
to
Age
lead
of
from the back,
Sigmar army,
and we can
like
guide
the
Sky
flying
Lantern using
dwarfs
buttons and banners.
with
This
their
is great.
flying dwarf
The
boats.
magistrate you see there is a hero choice for the Force, and you can choose to mount him in a Sky Lantern if you want.
Welcome to 2 a.m. ASMR. Only the finest of lanterns are being described.
It's a huge, rare, heavy chariot, basically, on a new base
It
size,
looks
which is quite cool.
relatively
And
boring
you can
to
equip the
paint,
gunners on
unless you
board
want
with
to do
an
like
array of
rainbow
gunpowder weapons
colours.
and bombs,
That could
including
work.
the actual lantern itself.
Yeah,
has
they'll do
those
40k
huge
last, so
Sky
you
Lantern
watch the whole
bombs underneath
stream.
it, which are absolutely devastating. One of my favourite rules about this thing is the Eye of the Dragon rule, which lets Cathayan
I
artillery
wonder if it's
use this
hollow
model's line of
inside, like the
sight, so
plastic.
crew on board are
I would assume
directing
so.
the artillery fire for the rest of the force, which is fantastic. So
Just one thing I want to note on this as well is the transfers.
Yes.
You'll have seen on all the banners these
Oh, there's
wonderful,
transfers. Well, that's
intricate
good.
symbols,
That's good.
and as well there on the Sky Lantern.
Yeah, you could
those are
probably
all
put a light
transfers.
inside it and then it actually
you
lights
don't have
up.
to be a level 4 brush sorcerer
Well,
to,
that can work.
to
That could be
complete
fun.
that. So there we go, fantastic news for the Cathayan players. And that's not the only centerpiece model we've got. Of course, up next we've
Welcome
got
to the channel.
Cathayan
Yeah, put a flicker
Sentinels.
light on. Okay, yeah, the
Look at the
Sentinels
size
look
of this thing,
very
Alex. Tell me
big.
more.
These are great animated statues, and if legend is to be believed, they were all built by the Dragon Emperor himself many thousands of years ago to combat chaos.
It does look very fragile,
Sentinels are
yes.
crafted from magically charged red earth, and they
And I
tend to
don't
be
know how
found
you're going to
on the
fit it
Great
in a
Bastion
box. That is the
itself.
problem I have with the Dark Eldar
Sentinels can be
models.
found across
Like
Grand
the
Cathay
Raider and the
and
Venom.
everywhere.
Once
They're
they're
made of
on their
various
ball
stones, so like
stand
Grand
flying
Sentinels
thing,
watch over Sky Pass in the mountains of Moor,
I can't really
Obsidian
take them
Sentinels
off
defend
it.
the border against the Blood Nagas of Koresh, and
How
Warpstone
to implement the
Sentinels
lantern
fall
into
from flame infused
Genestealer Cult?
Warpstone dust,
I
sort
can't
of
think of
watch
any
over the
good
desert roads in the Warpstone
analogous
That's
unit
really
because
cool
we
as well,
can't
depending on
have
which one you go for and
flyers.
how you paint your
We're not even
miniature.
allowed
They actually give
flyers in the
different rules
Brood
game
Brothers.
as well. So the Terracotta Sentinel can regenerate, while the Granite Sentinel might have a better armor save, and the Warpstone Sentinel is going to sort of really badly
I think they said
nearby
plastic. I
enemy
assume they're
troops,
all plastic.
decreasing their toughness, which is really horrible.
I had
These things are
400 points of
huge,
Genestealer
rare
Cult. What do you
behemoths,
think is the
and they are just
funniest
great fun. You
way
definitely
to kill a
want to
Night
explore.
Lancer in one
But let's
turn
have a
with
look
all the
at
buffs in
another
any
centerpiece
attachment?
model here, the Shigengan Lord on the Great
Ah,
Spirit
400
of
points is
The
just
idea
not
goes
enough
to
to
the
get 20
Sentinels are
neophytes
celestial
with a
dragon,
Primus
dragon-blooded. They're natural
and
sorcerers,
bonuses.
just as skilled wielding
So
the
I would
elemental
probably
winds
go
as they are
with...
with a blade. They're gifted with weapons and
can I
armor
fit a
from the forges of
Benefictus? Yeah,
Wajir,
20
and they fight
neophytes,
from the front.
a
These guys are no
Benefictus,
slouches in combat.
or
not, and they're
a cheaper
basically
50-point
warrior wizards.
character,
So these
and
models can be
then
a hero
a
or
chink in their
launchers,
armor enhancement,
depending on
and
which
then
one you go
Host of
for. It could be a level
Ascension,
1 wizard or
and
level 4
then
wizard, and those
primed and
can
ready
increase. You could
stratagem.
have a level 4
So
Shigengan
you
Lord
arrive
if you
from
wanted
reserves,
to,
you
all
hit
flying around
with
this
sustained hits and
beautifully,
lethal hits on a 5+.
sculpted Longmar flying
That should
beast,
mess up a
just
knight.
a wonderful sort of both warrior and wizard general to lead your force, and a stunning centerpiece model too. But other choices for your heroes include
That's a nice
the
dragon. It looks like a
Gatemasters
forest
and
dragon.
Celestial
I mean, it looks like
Cities.
what
These are the
the
leaders of
Wood
the
Elves should
Gatemasters.
have as a
They've earned their
forest
position through
dragon.
skill and experience, and they must have served for at least a decade. And
A
they're the masters of
Gatemaster.
defensive warfare and discipline.
Absolutely right. They're battle-hardened veteran leaders for your forces. Again, they could be heroes or or lords. You get 2 in the box, enough to make a fighters if you want to, including all the bits to make a battle standard
That's
bearer.
quite a nice battle standard
thank the
bearer.
Dragon Emperor for the fact that that is a transfer there, so you don't have to hand paint that
Oh,
yourself.
good.
These guys
I like
are
it when they do
wonderful leaders to have in
transfers,
your
like
force
full
to go at
transfer
your
things,
models
and
to
not
play. Now, of
necessarily
course,
like
alongside
ingrained
this, we are
on
gonna see the
patterns.
Grand
So if
Cathay
you want to do
Arcane
something
Journal as
different,
well.
you can.
Indeed, so this has got the history of Grand Cathay, the Celestial Dragon Emperor.
They are talking very
including lots of
quietly.
little bits of information that you might not know, such as that it was the Dragon Emperor who shared gunpowder with the Sky Titans and a long and storied friendship with Nehekara, until events that we will not mention. It's got the
Okay.
philosophy of Grand Cathay, the armies, the formation of the Great
In
Western
Warhammer 3,
Desert,
is there like a
trade,
peasanty
exploration.
side
There's
to
a bit
the
of a
Grand
focus on
Cathay,
the
or is it
armies
just
of
these
Nangao
jade
here,
dash
and it's
something
that's
warriors?
the anchor at the western end of the Great Bastion. It's also
I
got a
do
lot
play
of
Old World. I
feng-shui
have
sorcery,
vampire
which sees
counts.
the
I've
winds
been
of
playing
magic split
vampire
into
counts a
2,
few
yin
times.
and yang. Yang may just study
And
control of the winds of magic,
Skaven,
producing
and I have
bright,
Dark
vibrant
Elves.
spells, whilst yin is dark
The
and
gate is
brooding.
bought
Very
separately.
many magic laws which you
Ah,
can
there's
take
peasant
for your
fodder.
wizards inside
Right.
the Arcane Journal as well. This Arcane Journal is a bit unusual. It's not maybe like the other Arcane Journals we've seen, as it's more of a sort of standard army list. So much like you'd see in the Forces of Fantasy or the Ravening Hordes books.
Okay.
But every
So it's
single
a
model that's coming
pretty
alongside
standard
will have
army.
full rules in here.
Well,
full
you know,
special
if they
rules
have
for the
like
army,
6
unique
units,
weapons, magic
they
items,
can't really
everything you need to feel
specialize
Grand
too
Cathay
much in
army a
terms
game
of
Warhammer the Old World
unusual
is
armies,
in
which
this
are
book.
like
So if you wanna collect
detachments.
an army, you need to get yourself a copy of this book as well.
yes.
But that's not the only thing. We've got one more thing to show you from this army. Take a look at this.
That's a nice dragon.
Oh,
That
that's
is a
really
very
nice. This is
fancy
Miao
breastplate
Yin,
for
the
that
commander of the
dragon.
armies of the Great Bastion, ruler of northern Cathay from her seat of power in Nangao. So for centuries, she's fought against the servants of the Dark Gods,
That's a
hobgoblins,
very nice
barbarians,
mustache for a
you name it.
woman.
She was assigned to her position by the Celestial Dragon himself.
A very
and often
nice
considered the
mustache.
favourite amongst her siblings due to the power she wields and duties she bears.
It's a
And
good
she's
dragon.
somewhat
Good
aware of
dragon.
it. She's forever dealing with the Lords of Nangao, because even when you are a
Yeah, on the right
dragon,
base, you could use that as a
politics and
Catan
scheming never,
of the Void
never
Dragon.
escape.
Now, I'm right in thinking Mao Ying's form is as a dragon, and
Yes.
sometimes she can transform herself into the human form.
Can
so
she
I
be a
guess let's
human
terrify
woman?
her,
Is she
which
like
is,
Marathi
what's
with a
important as
human
well,
model
if you look at that
version? There we
beautiful
are.
miniature, isn't it? I think it's important to say as well, that model we've just seen, the dragon,
Very
Mao
fancy.
Ying
That's a
here,
nice
and all the
gauntlet.
models we've seen
That
in this
looks good.
entire range are all plastic.
Indeed.
Ah,
which
there
is
we go. They have
fantastic
said
news.
they're
So,
all
it's gonna be
plastic.
much
None of
easier
them are
to,
resin.
make your miniatures.
So you're
Mao Ying is
able
a
to
powerful
use
wizard,
all of them
she can
pretty
transform
easily.
herself from a dragon to a human,
Modify
whenever she
them and
wants
cut
to.
bits off.
And she's a
I
supreme
do
matriarch
dislike
of the Nangao,
building
and so
metal
she can promote
models
warriors
when you
around
have to
her
like
be her
attach the feet
celestial
to the
dragon
legs
guard
to the
and
torso
veteran
all
as
in
well.
one go.
Just a stunning centerpiece
It's
model for
awful.
your army.
You need
That
like really
whole
strong glue
collection
and
is
elastic
just
bands or
incredible.
clamps.
The intricacy,
Just
the
be clamps.
detail, it is beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. That is Grand Cathay.
I wonder
coming
how
soon
like
for
Prince
Warhammer
Imric
Old
is going to
World.
deal with
I'm
them,
very
as he's
excited
like
for this.
Lord of
And
Dragons.
yeah, you guys weren't sure if we we're going to show you everything. We just have. So there we go. Exciting stuff. We've got a bit of time now to go over to Question Corner. Ed, what's the chat talking about at the
Oh
moment?
dear.
Well, first off, I would like to shout out a few of the locations people talked about earlier. We've got people from all over the UK, loads of states being listed across.
Why are
Canada,
people in the UK
Paris,
watching?
Australia, Norway,
It is
you know, all
2
over the world.
a.m.
Fantastic.
Go
I
to
do have
bed.
some old world related questions. That
Or get a
I've got to
blanket
do.
on
And
and have
how
some
much of this
biscuits.
Is in resin. It's a big one that we're being asked.
Well, everything we've just seen is plastic.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, they're not going to
that's
expand
it.
vampire
If there's
counts.
other models coming in the future,
I
that we
think
haven't
at
seen,
all.
we don't know about at the moment. We don't know.
Why are you
but
watching? I
everything
know.
we've just seen is entirely plastic. Multi-part miniatures, loads of different options you can put on your miniatures. So
I'm
there
awake
we
because
go. That
Warhammer
was that, right?
chatting
It's
stuff
pretty
is, well, it's fun and it's nice to do it
Are
with
those
200
tabletop
odd
models
people.
The biggest models in Old World.
cool. Ooh. Might do, you know.
They might be.
Are they going to be bigger than the
Sky Lanterns,
giants?
Yeah, the Sky Lantern stands really tall.
Maybe.
It's on,
ties
it's on
in-
a brand new base as well, and then on a flying stand, and then that balloon on top of it.
Well,
So
if
it
you
is
count the
Typhon,
flying
and
stand with the
Sky Lantern
balloon,
takes
it might be.
Well,
That's
in
the
fact, this
problem,
one
though. You don't really
was-
want
is the Sky
tall.
Lantern attached to its base purely from the plastic parts. No, it's got the flying stand.
Mhm.
Okay, final question then.
Okay, so there is
who
at
are
least a
Cathay's
flying
biggest
stand.
rivals in the Old World?
Ooh, they don't have a rival.
You know,
Arguably, they're amongst the oldest and most powerful kingdoms in the
Okay.
Old World.
but they particularly hate the forces of chaos.
Oh,
right?
they absolutely loathe chaos.
Okay.
Like, going to
So
be,
if
hang
you-
on,
if you had to have-
Cathay
if there was a rival,
is going to be
if there was someone that
fighting
stood up
chaos in the
against
north,
forces of Cathay, it would be
the
Warriors
ogre
from
tribes to
Cathay.
one
Right,
side, and a lot of
right,
orcs, I would
Anything
imagine.
else, Ed? Any more on the
At one point, they were fighting Tomb Kings because when the Tomb Kings army book came out in like 7th edition, 8th edition of Warhammer Fantasy, then they had like, hey, there's a guy who marched a bunch of Sphinxes across the Ogre Kingdoms and into Cathay. Okay, what do we got for Kill Team? Tectonically unstable. Is this Necromunda? No, they didn't mention Necromunda. Archaeotech. I mean, that seems very Necromunda. Flickering lights. Seems like Genestealers, but it's not. Oh, okay. Are we getting... There's some Ripper Swarms, Hormigants. I mean, I hope we get more than just that.
Here we go. Kill Team Typhon is the next release coming for Kill Team, and it's extremely exciting. We have got a big box here full of loads of miniatures and the much asked for, much waited for Tyranid specific Kill Team is here in the form of the Ravenors. First of all, before we go any further,
of all the things to go for,
Alex,
they went with Ravenors.
So we are still on Volcus.
Alright, it's an AdMech thing.
The Great Gun is fired, and when it does fire, the backdraft sort of levels everything around it. One of the things that sometimes happens is that sinkholes open up, and when they do, that allows access below the Great Gun. And so what happens is the Adeptus Mechanicus send out these
below the Great Gun is where the Tyranids live. Sure, why not? Hey, if it's going to be a narrative campaign, you have to have every single army that possibly exists coming in the one place.
Ravenors Kill Team.
Yes, Big Brain Ravener.
The Ravenors Kill Team.
Oh, 5 models. Okay. Plus Hormigants.
We'll talk about the Hormigants in just a second. But the Ravenors Kill Team is 5
Oh, does this mean Ravenors are going to be in squads of 5 from now on in 40k?
Make them onto Ravener Warriors if you wanted to, as you see in 40k, but you can also make a Prime, as much as other things we're going to go over in a second.
Alright, a Ravener Prime. That's a fancy little crest.
Live, driven by an all-consuming hunger. Reports say that sometimes they can be deposited on a planet, they burrow through rockcrete, armor, flesh, all with the same level of ease, and they can basically hide out for years.
So we didn't get
What's
Shrikes.
happened here on Volcus? As you mentioned, these can be built into several different sub-varieties. So you've got the Prime as a nodal hub for the brood and coordinates.
So the Prime is a HQ character.
That pump toxins that can then be tracked. The Venom Spitter that
possibly,
you can probably guess,
or it might just be a unit champion.
The Wrecker, which is a heavily muscled armored version, which can
very
break through
fancy.
into bunkers. My favorite, the Tremor Scythe. It's got a hypersensory array.
Oh yeah, they're very weird
And
looking.
chemical signatures like fear.
So I can see how it works in Kill Team.
Played Space Marine 2, you'll have come across
Right, so it's essentially a new Ravener kit. So you can build them in the basic warrior version for 40k, or like this for Kill Team, and maybe there'll be some upgrades for special abilities, like the Venom Spitter. Like 1 model out of 5 can be equipped with a Venom Spitter, and that'll be how they do it.
And they can all fight twice in an activation.
Yeah, Ravener Bioforms.
Yeah, absolutely monstrous foes. Only, I think 5 models is one of the smallest kill teams, but they are tough.
Yeah, they're going to be
real big and tough.
Elite, a very elite kill team.
Lots of APL, be terrifying.
No, the Ravenors
Maybe
don't have
quite as terrifying,
a dual build kit at the moment. They just build
the battle
Ravenors.
Clade coming alongside
Snakes.
them in the box set. These are an Adeptus Mechanicus kill team, and someone in
So
the chat
the
earlier on
AdMech
said, "I'd give my soul for an Adeptus Mechanicus kill
just
team."
Servitors.
Not knocking on your door anytime soon. But Alex, tell us about
Right, so it's
tell us about these
Servitors
guys.
plus the Archivist that we saw from Blackstone Fortress, so that's not a new model. That Tech Priest guy at the back with the fancy gun.
Seems to be floating there. Basically,
That
these
one
guys
is new.
specialise in
I think the
reprogramming
Overseer
and
is new.
controlling servitors,
So
translating
they
the mission into
can
complex
speak to
subroutines suitable for
Servitors.
their charges,
Great.
but they can be a bit
Oh, I
enthusiastic
had that
about the
ability in the
acquisition of
Dark
more
Heresy
servitors.
roleplay
If you
game.
do happen to have one of these
Binaric
guys
Chatter?
nearby, be careful
It
they're
was
not
something
too
like
much.
that, so you can
So
program
alongside them, you've got a
Servitors.
whole host of various
So you
servitors.
have your
can
Servitors with big
servitors,
guns.
servo stabilizers, and even technomedics, which is a rare willingness to heal the
And
fleshy
then-
parts of servitors, because you are on a mission
Okay.
far from the forge.
Okay. and then a bunch of little
Needs
dudes.
must, right? Absolutely right. What's quite
All
cool on
other
tabletop, these guys have a
servitors,
rule called the
maybe?
Nospheric Network, where they can transfer power from one server to another. One maybe shuts down and transferring as an
How
API
many of
to
them
another
look
one, which is
actually
really good
human
fun.
and alive?
Different
How
servitors
many of them
have
are
different
actually
rules. You've got the breacher
servitors?
servitors, you can knock holes through walls, and the gun servitors and
usual
combat servitors carry a
stubbers,
huge array of
little
exotic
claws,
weaponry, including a heavy arc
and
rifle,
clamps.
incendiary igniters,
Give 'em the
and phosphor
clamps.
blasters, which all sound terrifying. Great fun. Now, coming alongside those two kill teams in the box is the dossier, of course. Which
I mean,
is
when they're saying like
where
this
you
is
find
live,
full
what
rules
they
for
can be
both
doing
kill
at this
teams,
point is
but
just
also has
reading
really
from a
loads
script.
of extra stuff in there as
So
well.
that's
you see all the tokens,
perfectly
the things, the cards
reasonable.
that come in the box. Inside the dossier, you'll find the joint ops and adversary ops mission packs in here as well. The joint ops is really good fun. That's where the Hormigans
That's the
and the
same
you get in the box set
Hormigant
come
kit.
into play as well.
Yeah, that's
because
one we've
there
already
is
seen.
a tree campaign for playing through the narrative of the Tyranid invasion on High Basilicus, and the
Okay.
Hormigans are your NPO, non-player operatives that you get in there.
Alright,
with
so
full
you
data
also
cards,
get the
rules, bonus
Hormigans
nodes
if you
to
want to do the
work
one
against
player
with your
version,
friends,
or you know,
which is quite
two
fun.
on two
But also
versus
in the box, people have
the
noticed, we showed
computer
off on Warhammer
essentially.
Community a little while ago.
And there's your
Terrain
terrain bits.
infestation, terrain
So they
kill zone
look
upgrades.
actually
Tell me what we've
really
got here.
small. That's a really small
Spore
hive
capillary
node.
towers, gestation sacs, shards, spewer growths, underbrood mounds, capillary roots, spore vents, and brood nests. There's a lot.
Yep, it's the
Chimneys
brood
and
nest.
vents pump out spores. Capillary towers act as conduits.
I mean,
for
if you
high
wanted
pressure
these in the
brine.
first few
That's
issues
where
of the
they can
Kill
get
Team
all the
magazine,
biomatter
you got
up
little
front.
card
Gestation
versions of
sacs,
these.
well, you could probably guess.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
So that
It's
works
such
if you wanted to
great
get the first few
terrain
issues,
and a
like
really nice way
issue
of really adding
4
a lot
or
of flavour
5.
to your kill zone.
They
And
had
in
things that
standard
look
games,
like
they
this.
provide light cover or heavy cover as you might
So it's
expect,
probably just a
but
terrain
actually in the
thing,
joint op missions,
and
they're also used
unlikely
as
to get
objective
something in
markers
40k
used
for
to
rules.
investigate or
So I
destroy,
don't think we're
or
going to see
spawn
new
points for
terrain
vehicles
coming
to
for
come out of,
40k,
which is
new
terrifying as well.
fortifications
It's
for
a
the
beautiful
Tyranids.
set of
I think
terrain,
that's
and it's
very
really nice to
unlikely.
see some sort of classic Tyranid terrain from yesteryear made into a plastic set for your battlefield as well. Tyranid players all over the place, you want to get your claws on these.
Yeah, the
So
Genestealer
there we
Cult
go.
are
That is
happy for
Kill
the
Team
new
Typhon
Ravenors.
coming
They
very
look pretty
soon.
good.
Got a little bit of time for some questions again from
Can
the chat.
we-
Ed,
they're
anything
Vanguard,
else you want
aren't
to
they?
fire our way?
Well, obviously, the big one is
Let me just
for both
check.
kill teams
Can we
on
use
the
these new
rules for
Ravenors,
40k.
hopefully, in
So
the
right now,
final
of course,
day
you can have rules
detachment
Ravenors
for
in the
Genestealer
codes
Cult?
already, which you can use tools to
Yeah, we
represent.
can have
What we wanna see
Ravenors
full rules
normally.
for both kill teams in their
So
entirety.
maybe we can
Well,
use these with
we're
the
not sure yet,
Genestealer
but
Cult
keep
in
your eyes on
final
War
day.
Community, and there may well be more news
Okay.
coming on those.
Yeah, we love
Yeah,
fortifications in
watch
40k. They're
what
so
we
well
got.
supported.
Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions about.
Yeah, they
the
didn't do much for the
Karanak
Kill
credits,
Team
Chaos Knights
AdMech
credits,
thing,
and
other than
watching
it's some
the
servitors,
40k will cover those.
because the person leading them
this
is a
on
model
H3
that's already come out in Blackstone Fortress. We've seen it before.
Ooh, so as I mentioned before, basically the
There's no
Ravenors
Horus
are to
Heresy
be
this
deposited
time.
on a
They
planet
already released a
well
bunch
ahead
of
the
Horus
Hive
Heresy
Fleet, and
things
can stay there for years, if not decades.
like a week
So
or two ago,
it could be
or
a
mentioned that they're
precursor to an
coming.
invasion, but it also might have been, a little offshoot. So we don't yet know.
Fingers crossed it's not a full invasion there, right? For the sake of the Imperium.
Fingers crossed it is a full invasion.
You stay on your side, sir. Anything else, Ed, that we want to go over?
Yeah, final thing about just obviously we've not had Ravenors for quite some time. In terms of build options, are we able to see just a full unit of normal Ravenors? Is there an ability to build multiple of each one? Basically, what we're going to do.
Tell us about the Ravenors.
So basically, the kit you can build, you could build all 5 Ravenors as a Ravener warrior, which is essentially the Ravener you can see in a sort of Ravener squad in a Warhammer 40,000 game. There's also full rules for Ravener warriors in Kill Team 2. So if you wanted to build 5 Ravener warriors, you could use that as your kill team, no problems at all. As for the other options, you get enough bits to build 1 of each. So 1 Prime, 1 Wrecker. One,
Yep, you get one of each type of Ravener.
The other ones you can build there as well.
Can you use them in
so
40k?
multiples of those. All right.
Didn't mention.
That's everything for now.
So it may just be, hey, this is the
Okay, so
Ravener
let's
Warrior
move on.
kit.
What we got next?
Ravener Warriors are the only thing you can get in 40k. If you want to build them weird, then you're going to get the weird versions, but only having rules in Kill Team, at least for this edition. Maybe. Assuming they don't want to update or change the Ravener, unit card. So there may be no new rules for 40k.
Lead your forces to victory in fun, fast-paced games using streamlined rules.
So this is
Each
about
Spearhead box
Spearhead,
contains all the miniatures
the
you
Age of
need to
Sigmar.
take command of a balanced
Okay.
and thematic army, with rules and updates available to download for free online. Obliterate your foes from a distance. Impose a grisly tithe on
I mean,
them.
as far
Devour
as
them whole through
yeah,
gluttony, or shred them
Spearhead
with
is much better
cold-blooded
balanced
savagery.
and played
The choice is
than
yours
Combat
with
Patrol
4
in
new
40k.
spearheads. March
So if
forth
they were
into
able
the
to,
realm
in
of
11th
death
edition,
and
make
prepare for battle with
Combat
spearhead,
Patrol games
sand and
like
bone.
Spearhead and be fun and interesting and different, that goes much
Very
better.
exciting.
It's not
So
as
this
good
is
in 40k.
Spearhead, Sand and Bone. This is basically the new expansion.
So
for
it's an
Spearhead,
expansion. See,
with
they're actually
full
doing
load of new
expansions
exciting
for it.
additions
There
over
hasn't
two
been
areas of the
a
realm of
Combat
Death.
Patrol
Double Death.
expansion in
Yes,
40k.
you've got Ossia and Delorum. Basically, you've got two sides
Yeah,
of that
Combat
board,
Patrol just
with
replaced the
whole
start
new
collecting
scenery.
boxes,
Now, I
so
noticed
it was a
here
bit
we've
more
got the Necropolis,
expensive to
Blood
start
Delusion,
40k,
Proof, a Knight,
and
the
Combat
5
Patrols have been
Wartargs
getting
we
worse
know
and
of,
worse as we
they
go
basically
on.
reflect sites of ancient
How
powers
often do I
and
stream?
those Wartargs
On average
a lot
once a
better in
month,
the same way that we've seen
but
before.
like
you're right. There's a
I've
nice
done a
little
stream
variation
last
between the Fire
weekend,
and Jade, the
and I'm
previous,
doing the stream
game
now,
slots,
and I
give you
plan to
really
do
good
another
variation
stream
on
very
your games,
soon
depending on which realm you fight
for the
in.
Genestealer
You'll also
Cult.
notice that on this board in front of us, the green one here, you've got
Combat
one
Patrol, the
huge
beta
objective
test for
in the middle,
Spearhead,
the other
I can
four
see
small
that.
ones around
I
it,
can
which
absolutely
makes that
see
central
that.
one super important and exciting to play over. And if you look on the top left of the purple board,
What
there,
is the
that one's
Space
only got
Wolf
4
news?
objectives on it,
There may be
but
one
2 of
new
them are
Space
super
Wolf
close
model
in the centre of the board, so there's going to be a big
with
old
a
spread
funny
there as well.
hat.
Both boards really
Possibly like a new
want you to
Ulrich
get in
the
and get
Slayer
fight,
model? Is that a
which is great
character I
fun.
just made up?
You also notice on the screen as
The
well,
chaplain-looking
we've
guy.
got some new terrain features here as well.
Who's
This
not
is
a
the new
chaplain.
mystical terrain that's being added in, which can either be
Oh, I see they
set
have the
up on the board at
Neferata
start of the
vampire
game,
statue.
or maybe brought in through one of the twists in the
Hang
game
on a
as well.
minute.
We've got the Crypt of Blood, where your
I'm
fighters
sure
can
we've
take
seen
an
all of these
unholy
before.
draft and try
It
and
was
best
a
their,
Warcry
try and best their
expansion
foes in
that had
combat,
this terrain.
but at what cost?
And it had the 4
and
vampires
the
and
icon of
3
New Lamia, which is the
Sigmarines.
statue there, which you can sort of call upon the veiled promises of the icon, and maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't.
But yeah, Spearhead's pretty
Bit of a
good
big
because it's
risk
like
there, but
you
it's
get a
nice to see
double-sided
crawl
board.
options in
So
here as
the
well,
objective
as well as new
markers, I mean,
updated,
looking at that
battle
grey
tactics
side in the
and
top
commands
left,
and twists and everything to really make
that's
you feel like you're playing
looking
the
a
realm
bit
of death.
close for the
So
2
it's a very
central
different experience
objectives.
to Spearhead as it is right now.
But okay.
Great fun, and definitely want to get your hands on.
Because they are
But
basically,
alongside
here's
this
your
box, we've
central
also got
objective
some
and
new
3-inch
Spearheads coming
area
as well.
around it.
Indeed.
Because all of Age of
So the first one we're
Sigmar
gonna have a look at
follows
is the
40k
Ogre
and is now
Warcry
3-inch
Scrap
aura.
Plant. Now, basically, you're going to have your hunter in the center with a bunch of noblars around, as well as those 8
I mean,
iron
those
guts. Now, they are
ogre
packing
models are
some punch,
pretty
don't
old.
They
Because
really
they've
do.
survived
They
from
really
like
do. They're
Warhammer
terrifying. Don't get
Fantasy
anywhere
all the
near
way through
them.
Age of Sigmar.
But yeah, a really hitty Spearhead, that one.
Yeah,
there.
they seem to
We've
just
also
be
got
like
the
dropping
Seraphon
Warcry,
Sunblood Prowlers as
which I
well,
found a little
for
weird because I
Seraphon
thought
fans, for
surely
those
it's
guys.
doing
Indeed.
well
So
enough.
these basically have their
But
hunters of one chi.
there we
They're
go.
able to scoot forward.
I
And
expect
then
to
you've
see a
got
bit
that
more
big block of
Warcry,
Saurus
but it
warriors,
hasn't really
all
happened.
led by that Sunblood pack.
Yeah, terrifying.
I don't know if there's any
combat.
mention of it
The
not
Hunters
being
Fancy
as
definitely
good.
go for nipping around and grabbing your battle tactics. But if you don't fancy being quite so mobile,
This is not me
you could instead
tired.
go for the Cities of
This
Sigmar
is me
Fusel
at
platoon.
3
Just
a.m.
shoot people off the table
or
with
half
all your
past
guns and
2.
your crossbows.
It'll be me at
Indeed,
3
a mobile
a.m.
gunnery brigade, basically with 2
I am
elements
just
of the
speaking
Wildercorn that
very
move off the
slowly,
board, and then
very
you've got those 2
pronounced.
units of free-guild fusiliers
I
that
am
basically form an
sleepy,
impenetrable line of
and I
defences.
can't talk
They're
very
definitely
loud
they're even
because
better. They
it's
get better
very
on their
early
saves
in
and
the
they remain
morning,
stationary, but of
and
course
I
you won't
don't want
storm
to
the
shout
battle
for
tactics by
joy
doing that.
when
But
inevitably
tell you what, if
they
you want to go for a
release
smaller,
some
more elite
Celestians
force,
with
take a look at the
guns.
Ossiarch Bone Reapers Mortizan Elite. It's just 9 models, but
Yeah.
what 9 models they are.
Oh yeah, when
They
we talk
are
about
some
sort of
interesting
Ossiarchs,
spearheads, so
thinking about
they're going to be
rank
like
after
start
rank of formidable
collecting
troops,
sort
the
of
Mortisans of the
sets.
Order of Ossifactors
In
will assemble
theory,
these kind
at
of
a
cohorts
discount,
when you wanna
but it
improve
is
their
actually a
training
playable
capabilities.
army in a book.
And as you said, it's a
That's
highly
nice.
elite force.
Yeah, there's not a model there that hasn't got at least health 4, and most of them have a 3+ save as well. So these guys are tough. but not many of
Celestians
them
with
have good
lances
luck
on
trying to destroy
horses.
battle tactics,
I think we've
with those
had
guys, 'cause you have to
enough
really think about how you
horse
do it.
today.
That's
We
a
have
tough
jade
one to do with the
horses.
Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Yes.
Get you
Now,
a
that's not all
plushy
the rich for
sister.
the Age of Sigmar.
Yeah,
We've
then
got
I'll have my
Scourge
sleepy
of
time tea.
Gyran. Now, this is an exciting new seasonal event building up to
At
the
least my
launch of the
model
General
looks sleepy.
Handbook
You know,
in
the
summer.
VTuber model.
Now, on the
It's
run-up to that
accurately
release, there's
representing
gonna
me.
be daily articles on Warhammer Community with short
Celestians
stories
with
in
dual
video
bolt
form,
pistols. Hey,
along
in
with
second
new
edition,
rules
there
of
were no
defense, including
Celestians.
regiments of
If
renown,
you wanted a
battle donations,
bodyguard for your
enhancements,
canoness,
but every faction
it
is
was
getting at
Seraphim
least
on
one
foot,
updated war scroll card
with
for
2
an
bolt
existing
pistols,
unit.
which they
That's
could
right,
swap
and
for a
they're
bolter.
going to be match play legal from the release of the new
Oh,
General's
oh,
Handbook,
match play
which is
legal.
gonna be
Well,
the
there we
climax of
go.
the Scourge of Gyran season. We see that new General's Handbook arrive. It's that time of year. Here it is. And the difference here with the General's Handbook this time round is rather than
Maybe,
just being
I
a
don't think
book,
they'll do
it's
anything
actually a
else for
complete box
Battle
inside,
Sisters
which is your 72-page
this
book.
edition.
You've got your battle
I
plan
think
and
we've done the
battle
Battle
tactics
Sisters
cards.
for now.
There's manifestation
We
and
surprisingly
war
got the kill
war scroll
team,
cards as well.
the
We've
missionary
got
kill
the,
team.
6 objective
That
maps in
might
there
be
too.
it.
It's a complete product for the Warhammer Age of Sigmar
Servitors
generals if you
Cavalry
wanna
Kit
get your
Bash at
hands on.
Warhammer
Tell
World.
me where we are
Very
with this
cool.
season.
So this is War in the Jade Realm.
If they do a
Gyran is
Canonist in
sometimes considered sort of a
Warsuit,
place of
is it
abundance,
then going to
powerful
mean
Gyran
Morvenn
rules
Vahl
breadbasket
doesn't
of
get
Sigmar
taken?
domain.
If
However,
it's
the
like, hey,
realm
we have a
lies
leader for
rife
the
with disease,
Paragon
hellish
Warsuits
miners,
that's way
furious
cheaper than
forest
Morvenn
spirits,
Vahl,
monstrous
we just no longer
insects,
see
rapidly
Morvenval?
changing seasons.
It could happen.
Nowhere is safe.
That sounds awful. Sounds like a perfect place
Celestians
to have your
with
battles of Warhammer 40K.
crossbows,
Now, in terms of how
perhaps.
the rules are going to change
They could have the
for this season,
condemnable
we're not
guns.
gonna
Just
tell
a
you too
whole
much right
unit
now.
of condemnable
In fact, I'm going to
guns.
ask you to just go back to the Warhammer Community website. In the future, there'll be some hints here and there.
Well,
some
if we want
build-up
close
posts to
combat
go and
sisters of
find out
battle,
what's
we
gonna
already
be
have
on the topic.
Celestians
Keep your eyes on the
with
Warhammer
combat
website.
weapons.
Definitely sign up to that newsletter as well.
Celestians
With
riding
that done, it's
dragons.
time to take a few more questions from the
Oh,
chat.
they're taking
Ed,
more
what
questions.
are folks
Okay.
saying out there
Okay.
in the world of Chatland?
Okay, I've combined a couple.
Right,
into
I'll
one here,
allow
which is Fire and
YouTube
Blades
to
still
put
going
in an
to be
advert.
supported, and will old Spearhead boxes still be allowed to play in the new Spearhead rules?
100% yes to both. So Fire and Jade is
Morvenval
absolutely
is often
available.
played,
You
yeah.
can download the rules for free on Warhammer Community already. You can get the rules in the Ultimate.
How long is
Starter
this
Deck
stream
as
meant to
well.
last?
Warhammer
Normally they do
Sigmar,
45
your old
minutes,
Spearhead still
so
usable.
I think
Yep,
this time
absolutely
they're going to
no
do an
problem at
hour
all.
because they
There's
said
expansions
it's a
for the game,
big
it's not a
one.
replacement, so you
So
can use whatever
I'll
you
get
like
to sleep at
do.
3
There's
a.m.
more ways to play
Maybe.
Spearhead, which is great fun for.
Yeah. A whole unit of
Got another
condemns
question
just
from
to like
Viz. It
pepper
says,
Magnus,
Seraphim
cover him in
led by a
spikes.
unit rather than a single character. How does that work?
Tiny pulpits,
Indeed, John.
Celestian
Yeah,
balloons.
okay, so, yeah,
Yes.
some of the
Yes.
we've seen some of the spearheads being led by units. We saw it first with the Gloom Spike Gits. We're being led by that.
You got an ad
that,
for
Snarl
fish.
boss on his,
I have no idea what happens to my
we've also now
ads.
got the Sunblood pack
Unless
and
they're
the
going to do
Seraphon and the
Celestians
Mantis
riding
being the
skyfish,
as well. Some of
like
them work
the
in different
sea
ways. So the
elves in
ogres, he's a hunter
Age
with
of
actually
Sigmar.
tokens around him.
It could
Those are little
happen.
models representing tokens and things to put down. Whereas the Sunblood pack, the Saurus, are actually 3 different models. Now, they actually only have 3 health apiece, so it's going to make
Okay.
a 9 health unit, but they're still pretty tough. Yeah, that's how they work. It's actually really nice to see. I'm a big Warhammer Underworlds fan, and it's really nice to see some of the Warhammer Underworlds warbands being brought out and used in Warhammer Age of Sigmar in different ways as well.
So Warhammer Underworlds basically discontinued.
Anything else?
We've got a lot of
Oh,
40K
well,
questions still
that's a
coming
shame.
through,
Oh,
which
well,
we'll
maybe,
use into the next section.
maybe we'll go into some 4K later on.
Ah,
But
okay.
before we
They're
do,
going to delay the
there's
40k
more
stuff.
coming in the
Why
future for
not?
Warhammer
Why
80.
not?
So let's take a look ahead at what's coming in the future.
So, coming now, we've got the Soulblight Gravelords, followed on by that.
All
Spearhead
right, so,
expansion,
oh
Sand
yes,
and Bone,
yeah, we're going to get a
and then the
new
General
White
Assembly.
Lord, White King.
Taking a look a bit further forwards into the future, we
Then you get
have
your
the
Sea
Iron
Elves.
Deathkin and
Then you
Night
get
Haunt
more
are
Night
gonna be
Haunt.
up very
I mean,
soon.
I
The
assume the
Blades
Night
of
Haunt is
Khorne
going to be
are
more
gonna
of like a
come available
redo. Same for
soon
Blades
that
of
way as
Khorne,
well.
because the Blades of
And then
Khorne
looking
models are looking,
further
they're 10
into
years
the
oldish
future.
now. I feel
Ooh,
like 10 years
I
old.
wonder what that could be.
That could
That's
be
a dragon
I've got
wing.
at least 3 things in my
Or a
mind. But
bat
tell you
wing.
what, guys, if you're out there,
Could be
if
a
you've got an
bat
idea of
wing.
what that could be, let us know in the chat. And we'll,
Yeah, maybe a
see what
Flesh
we
Eater
can
Court
do.
wing, but they've done
Actually,
Flesh Eater
that's a
Courts
good one,
relatively
actually. That could
recently.
be- I've got at least
It's
2 in my
just
mind. It could
anything
definitely
vaguely
be.
dragony.
Right. with
Is
that
it maybe
done,
Cathay?
time to take
Are they going to do
forward
Cathay?
into the 41st millennium.
Here we are,
And boy, have
40k.
we got a lot
Okay,
of
I'll
things
turn
to
up a
show you
little
for
bit
Warhammer
for 40k.
40,000. Let's start off then with the chapter approved deck. It's that season. We've seen the General's Handbook already. It's time for the chapter approved deck 2025 to 2026.
Okay, what's
Now,
this?
this season, we're going to see this new deck, which functionally works the same as the current chapter approved deck, but with updates to missions, objectives, and formatting. So, going to be really good for players to get hold of.
So,
Crucially here, it
is that a
actually
new
includes
mission
missions
deck?
specifically written for incursion games, which are 1,000-point games.
Oh,
with
cool.
unique deployment
Actual
and
incursion
updated
game
muster
things,
rules
where it's
for
like,
smaller
hey,
games.
I'm
For
playing
example,
1,000
it's a rule
points.
of 2
Can I
for
have a slight
1,000-point games, with up to
different thing?
4
Oh, there we
battles
go.
instead.
Rule of 2, so you
That's
can only
gonna be
have
quite
2
fun.
of
We've
any
also
kind
seen
of
screen
unit
something
rather
called
than 3.
asymmetric war as
And
well.
maybe,
Another
you know,
new
4
format which we've
allowed
introduced
for the bigger
chapter
things,
approved
for
deck,
like battle
where
line and
attacker and
transports.
defender have different deployment zones.
That's a cool
and
deployment
different
zone.
aims
I
within the
like
game.
that.
So it's a much more unpredictable experience, and it's designed for 2,000
Hey, I'm hyped for
points
1,000
and
points. I
above.
love 1,000 points.
Instead of secret missions this time round, we've got challenger cards in the chapter.
No
approved
secret
deck.
missions,
A challenger is
challenges?
a player trailing by at least 6 victory points who can choose a challenger card. Or more.
Okay.
And these new cards
So if
provide
you're
a
behind on
stratagem and a
victory
mission.
points,
Players can choose to
like
complete
in the
mission or use the
Nakmud
stratagem, but
Crusade
not both.
book.
So similar mechanic to
So
Spearhead,
if you want to
rather
see
than
something
being
similar to
athletic.
this, look
Nice
up my
little way of getting
Nakmud
that player
video.
back into the game. And crucially here, this deck is designed
And you
to
have a
have lots
comeback
of different
mechanic.
ways
There
to
we
play
are.
40,000 match play. to
There's
give
so
you
many of
real
these things that are like,
variety
hey,
in
they
games
do it in
and
White
make your
Dwarf,
games
they
much
do
more
it
exciting
in
and fun to
Crusade,
play.
and then it comes into tournaments.
You don't keep having repeat missions, which is really, really cool. So there we go. That's the chapter approved deck coming real soon. Make sure you get your.
So it's
hands on
just
it.
called the generic.
However,
Mhm.
that's
Mission
not
deck.
coming for
There's loads
Warhammer
coming. There's
40,000.
so much
But I like the look of
We've
that.
also got the World Eaters.
Here we go.
So what
They're
are the
coming
world
with
eating?
Gorestorm Slaughter Pack Battle Force, including
Getting?
a whole host of 8-bound jackals, as well as the Slaughterbound, that brand new hero.
All
So
right.
this guy, where 8-bound has sort of
So there's your combat patrol.
demons trapped within him,
Shouldn't they have music with
taken
this?
on a bloodthirster that's given him exceptional strength.
Oh, okay.
With them,
He's an
they've got their
8-bound
brand
with a
new
bloodthirster.
codex.
But the
Within
whole
that,
thing of
it's obviously
8-bound is
gonna
they're meant to have
be
8
all
demons within them.
rules
Is
of
that 8
background for the
bloodthirsters?
Legion, the Scalathrax, all the war
I'm
bands,
pretty
the
sure you
characters,
can make that model
as well
from
as the
a
Red Angel
possessed
Gate
model.
Angron first manifested on Armageddon.
But
You're
yeah,
absolutely right. We've got a Slaughterbound.
I
This
think
is
that's
the
all
new
you get.
hero who's going to be coming into play for the World Eaters.
So
A
that's
monstrous
your
hero
combat
who can lead
patrol.
8-bound or exalted 8-bound into battle.
8-bound, 3 8-bound, 3 exalted
eight
8-bound, that leader, and 10 jackals.
So angry he can't die.
Okay.
So you're absolutely right. The Codex
Okay.
is coming as well, of course, including 5 new detachments.
No support for
You can
3,000
include
points.
Cornate demons in your army.
Yeah.
The Emperor's Children could include Slaneshi demons in the army.
I like 1,000
And
points a
one of
lot.
the detachments is the Khorne Demonkin, where you can use an enhancement to have a Lord on a Juggernaut leading Blood Crushers and Fleshhounds as a unit, which is just great fun.
Okay, so you're going to
And
get
there we
one
go. Do you know what?
detachment with a
Talking
small number of corn
Khornate
units.
demons. Well, we've got a little something to say, and it's over to Ed in Apology Corner.
Yeah, so Karanak should be in the Codex Demons Index. He's not, and we know that everyone wants it, so have no fear. He will be back when the World Eaters Codex comes out. Be both in that and also in an updated.
Alright, so Karanak is not a Legends mod.
There we go. Good news for all you.
He's going to go
Demon
back into
fans.
the index.
Apologies, guys. We're going to fix that mistake when that.
That's
book
a
drops.
weirdly
thanks for that
specific
patience on that
mistake.
one.
I think
But
they're going to
right,
go back
keeping
to
on the chaos
Apology
theme,
Corner
guys,
quite a few times.
We're going to see the Death Guard.
Alright, so what are the
So
Death Guard
Guard,
getting? New
likewise,
models?
have the pox-wrought vector battle force with effective
No.
light drone, Lord of Poxes, Plague
Alright,
Birds,
so it's not all
Plague
zombies
Birds,
this time.
Terminators, Plague Marines, a whole host
There's
of
your new
entities
model, the
driven
Lord of
bodies,
Poxes,
along
so
with the
they're
Lord of
getting
Poxes. So
one
these are
character
Alastair's
each.
airborne contagion, constantly pumping out a foul, fetid smog with that miasmic turbine.
Yeah,
in its
what they
back.
needed was
Both
more characters,
senior
obviously.
advance And as a weapon.
Yes.
Didn't want to do like, well, they don't really need Death Guard, like cultists, because they can just use generic cultists or the Poxwalkers.
Great plague blade.
I mean, I'm
Let me tell you,
expecting that
that
the
is one of the most
generic
powerful
cultists
combat
will
weapons in
disappear
the
from
UK.
the
It's great. Again, the codex includes lots of detachments.
from their
We
codex.
have Nurgle demons in the book. 6 detachments in there, including one that's very.
Oh, they get
demons
6
heavy,
detachments.
and
Well,
one that
Sister's
lets you
got
have an
what,
unending
5?
horde of Poxwalkers,
No, 4.
just as you hope
Genestealer
to
Cult
see.
got 5,
Which
and there is
cool.
at least a
And you know what?
Poxwalker
Let's
detachment.
round
That's
off,
cool.
the
I like they've still
unholy
got that.
triumvirate of chaos. We've got the
Yeah, you can
Thousand
add it to the
Suns.
20 other
Yes.
characters
So
you've
they've also
got.
the Warp Flame Thrallband Battle Force. We've got a
Ooh,
bunch of
automatons.
sorcerers, Scarab Cult Terminators, Rubric Marines, and you can see there at the front those Sector robots. So these are
Alright, so they
mechanical
are doing
constructs with
robots.
Features of ancient prospering spirits or tutelary demonic servants.
And
saturated in
you're
sources,
saying that it's
power,
some sort of
wounds,
suit of
selection,
armor with the
illusion,
suit with like the
key
spirit
features
of
like
1,000
secret
sun within?
bodyguards,
That's totally
threaded
original for
through
the
with
1,000
spells
suns. I
prophecy,
can't believe
so you can
it.
essentially force
They've never
certain
done
attacks
that
on their
before.
master, able to jump in the way of bullets or move them out of the way.
They're actually also able to foresee where the enemy's going to be as well, which allows this unit to use
Interesting.
the Overwatch stratagem for free.
Oh,
which
they
is
Overwatch for
terrifying,
free.
especially
Of
when
course.
they can be armed
Of
with
course they
heavy
do.
warp flamers as well
And
as
they have
missile
flamer
rams
weapons.
and melter guns. These things
Yeah.
are terrifyingly tough. They
Yeah,
actually
give
come
to
as
the
vehicles
Admech.
as well, which is
Hey,
cool
if you wanted to
because one
do
of the
like a
attachments in the Thousand Sun
conversion
lets you
for
take loads of vehicles.
the
You can have a
Raven
robot heavy
Guard,
force if you
they
want
look
to.
very
Great
Raven
fun.
Guard looking
Of
if you
course,
wanted
these
some
demons are in the codex
Terminators a
as
bit
well,
like
as
that.
you'd expect from these books at this point. And in the Crusade section, you can plot and
They're
scheme
on,
with
what,
Crusaders
50mm
as
bases?
well.
Maybe
So,
40mm
talking of
bases?
the codexes, we've seen already
pretty
Emperor's
nice.
Children having that absolutely beautiful limited edition codex. And
Yeah, you
you
could
know
use
what?
Ossiarch
We're
Bone
doing
Reaper
the same
models.
with the 3 others we're releasing as well. Of course, on the screen you can see the World Eaters. We've got the Death Guard and Thousand Suns coming too. These books,
So
Alex,
there
are
is no
absolutely
Berserker
incredible,
Surgeon,
aren't
as I kind
These
of
are absolutely
expected.
chock full of cool little bits of memory.
Just a, hey, you
That
know,
limited edition
someone's
codex.
doing surgery
However,
somewhere,
they look cool
off
on
screen,
They really do.
in the lore.
In person, physically, they're much better.
Right.
And Ed, you've managed to get your hands on them, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go on to.
Come on then, show us some of these in-person things, but just
I thought I'd nick 'em. So we've
as
got
a
this beautiful
live
slip
thing.
case that comes apart, a nice, almost torn
That's a
cover.
weird
We've got
thing.
3
Why
parts
can't you
of
just
the
have a
book.
sleeve?
We've got the codex itself with gilded
That's a
gold
very
pages,
thin-looking
really
codex,
nice
I've got to
artwork
say.
in each piece as well.
Well,
So
yeah, if they
every
only
book
have
should
the
come
current
with
number of units
5
they have,
pieces of
plus
relevant
like
premium
4 Corn
artwork
Demons, plus the
for
one
your gods.
character, so it's like,
Those
hey,
are
there's this
gorgeous.
many,
I've had a
you
cheeky
know,
look at them myself.
data cards in it,
And
including
then we
Combat
obviously
Patrol
have a large
variants,
slipcase
and
with
then the demons we've already
built-up
seen,
data
and then
cards,
one new model.
stratagems,
This is
we've
not
got
fixing
our
the we don't have
metal
enough units
tokens,
in World
or
Eaters.
objective markers, and finally,
They still need more
this
of the just
really
general
nice
Chaos Marine
solid
stuff,
metal
like like
medallion
maybe
that we
not
can make,
havocs, but
they're
bikers,
all magnetized
raptors.
together. to form one large metal medallion. That is so weighty in hand. I feel like I want to use this
That is
as the ejector
unnecessary.
marker instead of the smaller ones somehow.
I can't help feeling that completing the quadrant there is the
Imagine
medallions
paying
large
for all
enough
that.
to
Imagine
summon
paying
some
for
form of
codexes in this
Like
day and
I've got
age.
power coursing through me somehow. Maybe
You
it's the
can if you
adrenaline of
want.
getting my hands on all
I
four.
have affiliates
Those
if
are
you want to
absolutely
use them.
stunning. There's going to be
Yeah,
limited
it's
edition.
some
There are going to be only
monopose
1,600
models.
copies of each available when they go on release. So if you want one of those,
Feels
or
weighty in
even
my
all four of
hand.
those, make sure you get one as soon as you possibly can, because I reckon they'll be hot,
Oh, yes.
they'll be selling like hotcakes. So there we go. That's the limited edition Chaos Codex is coming very soon. But
Okay.
I've had enough of talking about Chaos Filth. We've got some other cool stuff coming. It's time to go a little bit Imperium, as the Grey Knights.
All right,
are
okay.
seeing
What have we
their
got? Grey
updated
Knights.
too, Alex. What have we
They
got
do
here?
not look
These are the
updated models.
Sanctic
They are
Temple
not updated
Battle Force,
models. They're the same
Grandmaster
models.
and Nemesis Dread Knight, units of Brotherhood Terminators, and
Yeah.
Strike Squads.
They're the
So they're
same as
also getting,
before.
their new codex, chocked full of all the background. The Grey Knights are basically super.
Is that a new
anti-demonic
Nemesis
forces
Dread
with
Knight,
their
though?
armor threaded through with psychoactive circuitry, and the Dread Knights in particular were made to combat the most horrific
Or
monsters, namely
is
the
it just an
Great Demons. Now, this
expansion, like
is
an extra add-on
update
kit?
to that Dread Knight kit.
It is indeed. We've had the rules for a Grandmaster in a Dread Knight for a little while, but now we've actually got a full kit to represent the most
Okay,
heroic
so there
heroes
is
of
a
the Grey
separate
Knights, in
model
Dread Knights ready to fight
in a
against
Dread
demons,
Knight
with weapon upgrades,
or a
including the
Grandmaster
Sublimator, the huge psychic
with a
melter,
big hammer.
and a Nemesis mace, which is what this thing has in common.
Nemesis
Massive
Dread
psychic
Mace.
blunt force trauma, which can destroy enemies. There's also a Nemesis flail, which
It
is sort of like a
still
Morning
looks
Star
odd,
version as
and
well,
it's
which is
still
coming
going to
here
be
as
a
well.
baby carrier.
So
They
we've got new
haven't really
weapons,
gotten away from that
of
aesthetic.
guy, and a great new addition kit. It's
'Cause it
basically
is
like
just a
Nemesis
man
Dread
in a
Knight kit with an
suit,
upgrade sprue
in a
there as
suit.
well to make it into a Grey
Hey, it's
Knight,
like a Centurion.
Grandmaster, which is just cool. In
Yeah,
terms
I
of
don't know if I like the
codex,
missile launcher on the chest.
Grey Knight
I
players
think
can
that's a
expect to see,
bit
rules like
odd.
Gates of
Like
Infinity
it's going to
still there,
impact into
slightly
him when it
tweaked.
fires.
We've got 5 detachments in there covering lots of different army styles, including the Sanctic Spearhead, which covers vehicles and walkers, so you can have an army of Dread Knights and Dreadnoughts.
So
if you
5
want to. It's
detachments
great. And
plus,
in
I think they
Crusade,
said
you
the
can
Grotmus
stave off
ones are
chaos
separate.
incursions with the aid of Vision
So that
70
won't
runs
appear
from
in the
Adepticon,
codex?
which is cool.
Because I'm assuming they made the
Now,
codex
speaking
like
of
6
football
months ago,
stars,
Yeah.
and I
the
don't
Grey
think they
Knights
made the
have foreseen
Grotmus
an invasion
things
of a
more than
world
like
that has previously been invaded by
2
the
months
Warriors.
before
Of
December.
course, this is the new Crusade book,
Ooh.
Armageddon.
Yes.
And
A
Armageddon
Crusade
is
book.
a
I like
war zone
Crusade
which will be
books.
familiar to many veteran Warhammer players.
So this is
Alex,
where we are
why is
doing
Armageddon
the like
such a big deal?
25th
Well, it's been
anniversary
the
of
site many
Armageddon.
horrific invasions. Now, the world stands
Excellent.
directly in the path of one of the Blood Crusades. It's splintered on all Keld territories.
So
and
yeah,
got
we've got
However,
orcs, we've
they've
got
descended to plague
corn
the whole
demons,
sector. Now, the
we've got
amount of
Grey
blood that
Knights.
has been spilled
Apparently
has
they're
been to
coming
flood
back
the
for
Red
like
Angel's Gate, where Angron's
redoing the first War of Armageddon
And as
at
such,
the same time as the
Conqueror
second
heeded
War of
the call
Armageddon and the
and
third War of
arrived.
Armageddon.
So the
But
world
there won't
eaters
be any Yarrick.
descended to Armageddon
He's
itself,
not there.
But they're faced with regiments of the Death Corps, Logan Grimness Space Wolves.
Oh, okay, they're saying the Death Corps there,
Templars,
not
and
the Steel
the
Legion.
Grey Knights who have foreseen this invasion.
This is so cool. What a great way to kick off
Okay.
the Warzone.
Well,
And
I mean,
this
that's
actual
cool.
book
I
itself
like
is
Crusade
a
books.
Crusade book. And if you've never played
When I
Crusade
can get my
before,
hands
it's a
on that,
wonderful way of linking your
I'll
game
cover
together
what's
in
in
a
it.
narrative sense, where your forces get enhancements or your
So yeah,
units
no
get
new
upgrades
models
as
for
you go
the
along.
Grey
And
Knights. It's
really
the
cool way of
same
playing 40K. If you've never played, I
firstborn
seriously
scale.
recommend. We're playing at the moment.
Oh, yes.
Those
and
same
it's
models.
great
They
fun.
look decent models, but
You can either
the
choose to defend
Terminators are now
Armageddon
looking a bit
or
dated
attack
compared to
Armageddon,
the
or perhaps be one of the
regular
third, the third,
Terminators that
party
Space
there,
Marines
just
have.
Not quite sure which side you're going to represent. Maybe you'll decide later on. And there's a tree campaign inside the book. For
So I'm
those three
assuming that this
factions
Crusade book
as
is going to
they
have
sort
like
of
the
take
Imperium and then the
battle
Orcs
to
and then the
enemy
Chaos,
over the
but
course of Armageddon.
with abstract
It's
things like
great. We've got
invaders,
Crusade badges in
raiders,
there.
and
There's a focus
defenders.
on epic heroes, mighty deeds, fighting hellscapes as the barriers between warp and reality just
That sounds
merge.
fun.
And what's really cool as
Interesting
well is
Crusade
there's
rules.
unbound demons flocking to your game as sort of non-player
Unbound
characters
demons
sort
as
of running
like
in,
random
just taking-
enemies.
taking
Hey, I
both
like
sides,
that.
and just causing complete
They've done
havoc
that
as
before in
everything
past editions where it's like, hey,
on
what have you got?
Armageddon.
And there was like a bunch of rules for like,
So, yeah,
oh, you got
seriously, Armageddon
Poxwalkers going around
Crusade
here,
coming
or
very
you've got
soon.
Rogue
Hey, you know
Genestealers,
what?
stuff
Armageddon
like
does
that.
sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sounds
Pretty
just
fun.
cool.
So Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Hmm.
An imperial
That's
nation
Armageddon.
plagued by invasion and constant bloody warfare.
That is on fire. Is this a
Now the
paired
blood
up
gods follow a
box?
swarm
No,
across the planet's
doesn't look like it.
surface. On the brink of annihilation, the world's defenders issue a desperate plea for aid.
And then the Grey Knights
Will
came.
anyone answer their call?
Are you going to say Primarch? Ooh, there's a dude, there's a Space Wolf. Oh yeah, the Space Wolves were involved. They were quite involved in the first War of Armageddon. There's your Space Wolf models, so it's all Primarisized, and it's probably going to mean a bunch of units disappear. It's like, you want Wolf Claws? No, don't get Wolf Claws anymore, you get Assault Intercessors with slight modifications. So we'll see what they come out with. Fenrisian Wolves? Codex Space Wolves? So what are we actually getting? Are they going to show us Space Wolves? No? Are we going to see the models?
That was incredible,
Wow.
and everybody there will have noticed a whole new raft of Space Wolves.
Oh, they're here. The Space Wolves are here. We've been
Okay.
waiting for them for a long
yes.
time. And it's great to see.
Was that meant to be a
fantastic
howl?
new
I think
range
he
of
was
miniatures
trying to
coming
howl
your way
just
for
then.
the Space Wolves. Let's take a look because I mean, look at these.
Stunning.
It's just we've waited and waited.
Yeah,
and
new
here they are.
Fenrisian Wolves.
This,
Are they
which is
just
what
going to
we're
be a
seeing right now,
token for
is
some of the
Space
units?
Wolves Army launch set coming to you
That's a
soon.
nice looking
Included
captain
in
with a
there
fun
is
shield.
The new Wolf Priest, the new Battle Leader, the new Head Takers, the Blood Claws, and the
All
Grey
right,
Hunters.
Head
We're all
Takers, so they
getting new
can't
miniatures
just have
there.
Blade
We'll talk about
Guard,
all of these.
they
They've
have
got the new
Head
Codex
Takers.
in there as well.
Or it
Oh,
might be
wow.
a, yeah, you
What
can't
a
use Blade Guard
force.
anymore, you
Let's
have to
a
use
look
Head
at some of the
Takers.
models a bit
That's
closer, shall we?
possible.
Starting off with the Wolf
I'm not
Priest.
interested about
Now,
the dogs.
My
It's like
compatriot
a,
Simon here
they're,
tells me
you know,
that
I'm
aside
sure
from a
they're
random
good
Genestealer
boys,
miniature some 20
but
years
no.
ago, this is the first
not
time
gonna
Games
get them.
Workshop has done a Wolf Priest miniature, so it's great to see. And I'm right in thinking this is a kind of mix between an apothecary and a chaplain.
Indeed, their duty
There's
is
a
to
wolf
observe
priest.
the warring tribes of Fenris and to sort of select potential aspirants. They harvest gene seed, they tend to the wounded, but they're also spiritual advisors, preparing their brothers for.
Hey, if they
excellent
do like a
spiritual
free
trials.
model,
It's
I
really nice
might
this model's
pick
actually
up
got
one
quite a few
dude and then I
options
can
here as
Death
well.
Watchify
You've
him.
got head
That
options,
could be good.
helmeted, bare heads as well. In game,
I'm okay with
you
having
can,
like one,
restore
maybe
wounds to
two
units that you've
Space
joined,
Wolves
and also add
in
one
my
to melee
Death
win
Watch
rolls
army.
with Litany of Hates. It's got
I
rules for
don't think
both
they
the
have any
Apothecarian
successor
and the
chapters, that's
chaplaincy
like
as
their
well,
whole
which is
thing.
just cool. Also
Or they
in the
might,
box
oh
set,
they
we've
do
got
now, because
another
in the
leader,
Primaris
Wolf
thing it
Guard
was like,
Battle
hey, there's
Leader.
more than just
Might
the
be my
Space
favourite
Wolves.
model of the box, this
They
one.
have had Primaris
So
foundings.
cool. Again, lots of options here. Helmeted, bare heads, different weapon options as well. Who are the
Very
Wolf Guard?
loud looking.
So these guys are members of the Wolf Guard, and they're deputized into leading warriors on the battlefield. They're essentially the equivalent of a Space Marine lieutenant.
Oh, hey, it's a Space Marine Lieutenant! He said it's a Space Marine
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant!
Years, decades.
That's what it
Also
is!
temporary
New
reserves,
Space
which
Marine
is odd
Lieutenant,
term to
everyone!
use. They've got access to ancient and powerful relics from the Great Company's armory. And when the
Yeah,
Wolf
they
Lord
have a
falls,
fancy
it is
sword.
from amongst
So I
these
wonder
Wolf
if they'll
Guard
still
that
have the
replacement is
rules for
spent,
like
so
the
giving
Wolf
them
Guard
experience in these leadership
can
roles
lead
in
squads at the
You
moment,
want
because
these
it's a
guys
cool
leading
mechanic
your
that the
units
Space Wolves
into
have,
combat,
where
specifically
you can
your
have
Wolf
like,
Guard
hey, I've
Head
got
Takers, your Grey
this
Hunters,
one
or
elite
your
model that I
Blood
add
Claws,
on
which is the
to
next new unit
a
we're gonna have a
regular
look at
unit.
here. Look at these.
It's like,
What
hey,
a
this is
great
now a
update on
character
an
unit
iconic
because I've had a
Space
character.
Wolf unit. These guys are the sort of the newer Space Wolves. Loads of options all over the kit, including
So yeah,
different
Blood
heads and
Claws,
things
which
as
are a
well.
cross
They're wearing
between like
slightly lighter armor than other Marines
Assault
as well,
Marines
so they look like they're a
and
bit newer.
Scouts.
That suits
Because
their
their Wolf
background.
Scouts
they're
are the
young,
old
impetuous,
ones.
and they need to prove themselves, temper themselves in battle. Like all chapters, training is
Oh, we
hard
got
and
some beaky
extensive,
helmets.
but battlefield experience is the most valuable, and so the Blood Claws
And that
are
looks,
discouraged.
yeah,
from
so
taking
they're
up
just
positions in the vanguard.
new Blood
That's
Claw
pretty cool.
models.
Now, as Blood Claws have been in the past, these guys are combat centric, carrying their Astartes chainsword and
So
their
it's going to
bolt
be a
pistol.
replacement
But
to the
big
Blood
news
Claws.
here is like
All
all
right.
Space Wolves infantry in Tacticus armor, they are movement 7. So they're faster than other Space Wolves.
What?
They're
Why are
destined to
they
get into
7
combat.
inch
They're
movement?
cunning hunters as well, allowing
Hey,
them to
why
reroll
not? I mean,
ones to
I'm
wound.
okay with that
And if
running
your target
pause.
is a major
I'm not
objective, they can reroll
okay with
all
it being
wounds,
there
which is
twice
pretty
over,
cool.
right
Just
in the
like the Grey
front.
Hunters, who are the other iconic Space Wolf unit, which we are seeing new models for
Grey
here as
Hunters
well.
with regular
Again, all
bolt
plastic,
guns?
loads of options for the pack
Are they going to
leader,
be...
lots of options all over the kit.
I mean, they
to
look
really
like regular
personalise your
bolt guns,
Marines,
but they're
which is
probably
perfect
the
for the Grey Hunters,
Primaris bolt
as
guns.
they're more the veteran Marines, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've survived long enough as Blood Claws to become Grey Hunters, and this is when the Canis Helix is really presenting a bit more apparently. So they've got
Okay.
grey hairs, fangs,
Hey,
rougher
they
skin,
look
all of those like canine
nice
developments that
if
we
you're
love
into
with
Space
Wolves.
Wolves.
They're really closely bonded
There's some...
units
Oh,
that
we've got a
improve
grill
melee
mask in the
as part
front.
of a larger force. They're stalwart
We're
and
seeing a
reliable
lot
and
of the
hold
old
that sort of
helmets.
fire akin to the blood.
which is
Lord, who are
nice. They look
core part
decent.
of your
There,
arsenal.
that guy.
Absolutely core. But these guys are great at everything. They have Astartes chainsword, so they can pack a
That'll
punch
be
in
wolf
combat.
bolt
Each
guns.
marine
Yeah,
carries
bolt
a
carbines. That's the one I was looking for.
allowing
There
to
we
fire
go.
up to 3
He
shots
said
apiece.
bolt carbine.
The pack leader can have a power fist or a power weapon. But the big news here,
So
as well as the fact
3-shot
that they
bolt
can move, 7
carbines.
inches like the blood
All
claws,
right.
is that this unit are OC3 apiece. which makes them
Objective
absolutely
control
perfect for
3.
holding
Why
and
are they
capturing
objective
objectives from the
control
enemy.
3?
They are
That's
absolutely
absurd.
core, and I hate to admit
No,
it, but they might be
not
some of
allowed.
the best core battle line units in the Imperial forces. So yeah, get your hands on, or your claws on some of these if you possibly can.
I mean,
Up
if you
next,
ever
we've
thought,
got the
hey,
elites
I
of the
want to
Force, the
have
head takers
some
and their
kind
hunting
of
wolves.
better
Head
battle
takers
line
tend to be
thing
from
than
those
intercessors.
wolf guard who
Oh,
still
now I'm
retain
playing
some of their
Space Wolf.
youthful
Oh, now these are
magnificence,
Grey
and
Hunters.
they specialize in hunting down enemy champions.
Ah, right. So the
Some warlords
wolves
and
come with
Svenrizian
these.
wolves with them are closely
I'm going to
bonded
call them Blade Guard.
and it's so
The
strong
Space Wolf
that it's
Blade
almost
Guard
as if
are the
they
ones that have the
act
wolves.
as one, with like an instinctive coordination.
These are elite infantry, similar to Blade Guard veterans. You might
In
recognise
fact,
from
I'd say they're
Space
very
Marines.
similar
They
to
have
Blade
loads
Guard.
of options. There's 9 interchangeable head
Yeah.
options in the kit for your bare helmeted.
You
or,
don't have
your-
to
your
do
bare
Space
heads or your
Wolves.
helmeted. There's lots of bare heads in the
I
Space
don't know why
Wolf
they'd be
kits,
better,
which is great,
but
'cause that
I
really suits
guess...
them.
No, I don't know
You
why
can
they would
give
ever
these
be
guys
better.
different weapon options. They can come with a mastercrafted power weapon and shield, or a pair of mastercrafted power weapons for 6 attacks apiece.
All right,
The
paired
head
weapons
take-
or a
head
hand
takers
weapon and
hunting wolves
shield.
fight as
Okay.
separate units on the battlefield, which is quite interesting. So you can run them around separately.
People are going to use the Blade of Dogs. If you're a proper Space Wolf player, you'll take off the men first and then lose the dogs, unless the dogs are just
and they get
tokens.
devastating wounds and precision when targeting that quarry, and when
You
they
get
killed
precision
it,
against
they
your
just select a new
quarry.
unit and a new
Okay,
quarry, which is
okay.
terrifying. Of course, inside this box, we're also
Well,
seeing
hey,
the
just
Space
pick the
Wolves
biggest enemy.
Codex supplement as well. Like I said, this is in conjunction with the Space
But that
Marines,
looks
Codex as well,
okay.
but it can
I'm seeing quite a
contain
few
full
like
background on the
repeated
Space Wolves faction,
armor sets
the
and
colour
like
section
legs
with
and
loads
things.
of cool shots of the miniatures.
But
Unreal
their
everything
rules
special
might
codex,
be
of
a
course.
bit
There are
too
3
strong. We'll
detachments
see what
inside,
happens when they
each with their
come
own
out
theme
and
their
when
own
they get
saga
toned
to
down like
complete.
3
Complete
months
your
later.
saga, you get additional rules, which is really cool.
So I think the
In
Crusade rules are
Crusade,
basically the
there are
same.
new Oathsworn
You have your
campaigns, expanding
sagas
on
to
those
complete.
Space Marines Codex. So the Space Wolf theme sagas to complete, earn deeds of making, exclusive battle traits, scars, agendas, everything else you'd
Yeah,
expect.
standard
as well.
Crusade expansion
Indeed,
stuff.
my
Crusade
favourite
is
of
fun.
the
I do
Space
recommend
Codex
Crusade.
is
You
the
don't have to use all of the rules or do all of the bookkeeping. You could just play the missions if you want. If you want to play on Armageddon with some random demons running around between your orcs and your Imperials, you could do that.
They respond with contempt to direct orders, scoff at Lord Guilliman's Codex Astartes, and treat the orders of Imperial commanders with contempt.
What
I
is this
think that's
Codex
something not-
Astartes rubbish?
Yeah, and an awful lot of Space Wolf players I've met as well, to be fair. You know who you guys are. Well, that's an incredible range of miniatures coming for the Space Wolves.
Okay.
And what's more,
Hey,
that's not
Space
all.
Wolf players
There's
will
gonna
be
more
happy.
coming as well.
And
Just
there's
haven't shown you
even
everything
more.
Yet. Expect some more characters, some more elite units coming
All
too.
right, okay.
So keep your acute
So we're going to
senses
have
fixed on
what?
the Warhammer
Wolf
community
Guard
website,
Terminators,
where you can
maybe?
get to see
To
all of
be
those
like
different
Wolf
range
Guard
of features. So
Terminators, like a
that's great news for
Terminator
Space Wolf
equivalent?
players. That range
Fantastic.
refresh we've been looking for, and it's here.
I don't know if they...
Congratulations, guys.
I
Let's
suppose
have
they
a look
kind of
now
did
over
and
to
needed range
question
refresh.
corner.
Maybe
Ed,
they...
folks got to be happy about
Either way.
Space Wolves, right? Surely.
Hey, if
They
you're a Space
are
Wolf player,
indeed.
I
There's
hope you're
lots
happy.
of love for Space
I
Wolves.
hope you're
Space Wolf
happy.
related question though is, do we know if Thunderwolf cavalry are still going to be riding across the battlefield?
I don't think
we're
they'll
not answering
update
questions about that right now.
the
because
Thunderwolf
Warhammer
cavalry.
Community website's going to give you more details about what's going to be included in the codex coming forward. There's loads of articles coming about that. So just keep
Oh
your
yes,
eyes on
there
that
are
community for
articles to
now,
read.
and all your questions will be answered right there on the website. And sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, for definite.
Not yet
There's
on
been a
the
couple of
Space
questions
Wolves,
that
but
have been asked since actually
other
before the
things.
stream started, and they've
Okay.
been charged throughout, so
Eager.
it's time to come to them. Imperial Knights, obviously on the last roadmap, they appeared as one of the next codexes. Now, obviously, we've got Chaos sort of coming at a similar time. When can we see?
yeah, Objective Control 3 is very nasty.
Oh, okay.
still
And
to
yes,
come.
they have more lieutenants. And hey, they
Chaos
could have a
Knights, do
range
you
of
know if
extra
they're gonna be a
lieutenants.
named character? That's another question that's been asked since the beginning.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be real pedantic here.
Big
because
names.
White Dwarf 509, they got 2 named characters in the combat patrol. So there we go. That they already exist. As for other named characters in the future, I don't know, to be honest with you. Again, keep your eyes on Warcom. If we haven't talked about it here, we can't mention it yet. Warhammer Community's got all the information you need, guys.
Yeah, so tied into that again. we've had
I mean,
questions about
Warhammer
release
community
dates,
articles
games,
are
codexes,
present and
again,
have
the
a
same
little
thing,
bit of
that's from Warcom.
information. I don't think there's anything
Another question
extra.
about them though is, are they all releasing at the same time or are they staggered?
Ooh, that's a good question. We know the Army launch set's going to be released as it's
I mean, we
sold.
could be
Then
waiting
see
quite
stuff
some
coming
time for any of these to
later on
properly
as
come
well.
out.
Release dates and everything completely up to other people.
How much of Space Wolves is going to Legends? I think a lot of it is just going to be plain replaced. Like the Grey Hunters, the Blood Claws. I don't know what they'll do about the Blood Claws with jump packs.
I do have a potential lore-based question. Obviously, we're
Thank you, Alan.
Armageddon wouldn't be Armageddon without Old Man Yarrick.
You
Is he still
oh,
around in
they're
the-
mentioning Yarrick.
As we saw from the Astra Militarum Codex a while back, Yarrick is, as far as the Imperium is concerned, deceased. There was a great memorial for him.
Okay, Yarrick's dead,
Oh,
unless like
unfortunately,
Trajan's got him in a
no.
box for some reason.
Well, at least,
Well,
but
just
when
so
you
they
get
can
it,
bring
it's
him back at
pretty
some
hard.
point.
No, read the Codex Astra Militarum. And it's
Oh yes,
There was a-
Stormcast Eternals make for pretty good
Sorry,
Blade
guys.
Guard.
He's an old
Yeah.
man no longer.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
do
it's
that.
probably going to
We'll
remove like
just
the
do
hey,
that.
you can have
Anything
2
else?
plasma guns in a squad of 5 Grey
there's
Hunters and
lots of
things like
questions
that.
about,
So I
not
reckon
really
it'll be a
what
rework
to
of the
get,
unit
otherwise we'll just
rather
You know
than
what?
check out Warcom.
We would love to
like
answer
the
some of
old
those questions,
version goes
guys,
to
and I
Legend and
promise
here's the new
ourselves we
version.
totally understand,
Because they're just going to have
but
the same
we
name.
can't say everything right now. Just keep rising the Warhammer's website and you'll see all that. In fact, should we take a look right now, a little look further ahead?
What are we
might
going
be
to say
coming
now?
next for Warhammer 40,000?
Alright, what's
So,
next for
coming up
Warhammer
first,
40k?
We've got the
We
Thousand
have-
Suns. They're going to be marching in with the
Yeah, the
Centaur
things we know
robots.
about.
Then we've got the Space Wolves howling in, the World Eaters.
So we've got the 3 Chaos
Finally,
things,
the Death
Space
Guard are gonna
Wolves,
make a slow trudge up the
and
field.
then the Grey Knights, I
Coming
assume.
quite soon as well. It's saying right
And then,
now,
like,
on the screen,
Imperial
so
Knights
they're
and Chaos
coming
Knights.
real soon, which is good news for all you Chaos fans and Space Wolf fans.
And after
What's
that,
coming next, we've got the Black Templars, we've got the Grey Knights.
But
the
I'm
Chaos
guessing
Knights
that
and
since they haven't
Imperial
showed off
Knights
anything
are
for the
stomping over
Black
the horizon
Templars,
as we speak.
there's
And then a
nothing
little bit
actually
further
coming
on,
for the
these are
Black
3
Templars.
more factions coming. Now, I'm pretty sure I can guess at least 2 of these.
Yeah,
Okay,
me
so
too.
we've got
They are
Salamanders
getting
left,
interesting.
Votan in the
And
middle,
the
Imperial
far,
Fists on the
far
right.
future, something's coming. It's a shadowy shape.
Oh,
What
right.
could it be? Let us know in the chat.
And then
what
after
you
that,
think
are they
could be,
saying,
'cause I've got a
hey,
couple of theories, so-
I mean, that's a Space Marine.
What do you reckon?
But
There's a few
at
theories.
that point, they're like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
me too.
we're doing 11th
So
edition.
there we go.
Even
That's
more
what's coming
Space
for the
Marines.
future for Warhammer 40,000. We've got just enough time for a couple more questions. Is there anything else that's burning people want to know?
Anything else
A lot of
burning? Yes,
questions about
heretics.
Warcry,
Heretics are burning.
Where we're at with the current edition. Obviously, we've still got a lot of Warcry model miniatures out at the moment.
Yeah, so they may be doing like supplement books
Nothing to report at the
again
moment,
for
so
like,
yeah,
hey,
it's
here's
gonna
your
be the same
Salamanders
answer, just
supplement
keep
and
right
your
on
Raven
community
Guard
for all updates,
supplement and your Imperial
that
Fist
sort of
supplement,
thing. Anything else,
much
Jim?
as they've done in
These
previous
1,000
editions.
Suns automaton
Crimson
droids back
Fists?
to
Yeah,
work.
could be Crimson
Ooh, that's a
Fists.
good
Quite the
question.
dark mechanic of it.
Ooh, time will tell.
Time will tell. Vashtor, of course, is the sort of the dark mechanic of the Chaos Forces, right?
Yes.
Has he perhaps built them, maybe?
Oh,
I don't know.
These are ancient robots,
Oh,
so
okay.
these have been around for a very long time. But that's not to say that Vashtor.
I can't imagine there'll be any like Dark Mechanicum
He's happily
stuff
filled with
anytime
Iron
soon, though.
Nexus. Obviously, he's got Wormwood. It wouldn't surprise me if his claws got all over the place.
There we go. Do you know what? That's been an absolutely brilliant show. We've seen some fantastic releases, some fantastic previews coming up. What we
We'll
saw, we
see
saw
if they
the
manage to have any
Old
Grey
World,
Knights
We
left.
saw Kill Team.
Oh yes, Space Wolves.
Space
All
Wolves.
those 40k releases.
All right,
those
sounds like they're
factions.
wrapping up.
Yeah, the new Spearhead's coming for Warhammer
Yep.
Sigmar as well. What's been your
So
favourite?
I'm going to have a quick look through the articles,
I'm
and then
awfully
I'm
tempted
going to
by the
go to
Ravenors and the Kill
bed.
Team box, but I
Pretty cool.
think it's going to have to be the Grand Cathay and Dragon.
Yeah, beautiful model. And
Yeah,
I think
so
the Spearhead
even though
fans, I'm
like
really
Black
looking forward
Templars
to
are coming
playing
relatively
Sam with
soon, no mention of what's
and,
coming for
I
Black
can't wait to see
Templars.
Sam paint some of those new Space Wolves as well.
I assume it's going to be
gonna
a
good.
here's your one
It's
model
been an
and
absolute
that's it.
blast. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us here on the preview show. Just a quick one. If you want to see any more pictures and information about what we've shown here today,
Space
make sure you
Wolves,
go
Blood
into the
Claws,
Wonderful
yeah,
website
Grey
where you can have a
Hunters
look at some more pictures,
with their
and check out
bolt
more information.
carbines,
And also sign up to the newsletter
which
there
get
as
3
well, which is where you'll
shots,
get all the first information.
and they're
You
OC3
can sign up to our social media,
unnecessarily.
which is again where you'll see loads of pictures. You can see on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and
But yeah, they've
X.
got chainswords and
Sign
bolt
up
guns.
there and get all the information straight to you. And also this weekend at Adepticon,
Nothing
we have
super
other streams coming right
special
here on Twitch as well.
about the Space
So
Wolves.
if you want to see the Warhammer 40,000 Championship or the Warhammer 40,000 Team Tournaments, they're all being streamed over the next 4 days up until
Armageddon.
Sunday. So do check
What have we
them
got
out
from the
right here on
Crusade
Twitch.
stuff?
Thank you to everyone involved behind the scenes.
So we've got the
behind
Fight for the
camera,
Doom of
those of you in the
Armageddon
chat,
or
not least,
Save
Lassie, thank you
Armageddon,
so much
sure.
indeed. Alex,
Yeah,
it's
new
been a real
Hellscape
pleasure.
rules allows you to play
I think
with
that's it,
warp
guys.
energy
Signing
flying
out.
around.
Thank you so much for
Units
joining
may
us,
be
guys.
able to
See you next
suddenly
time. Cheers, mate.
teleport. Okay. All good. Very nice. Okay, there's a few more things I want to see. You're welcome. It's been fun staying up. I can keep my eyes open a little bit longer. Let me just see if there's anything else for, like, Demon Worlds. Fighting on a Demon Worlds. New narrative play. Levels up your epic heroes again. That's a problem. The point of Crusade is that it is your guys, your characters who are getting better, not, hey, you know, these epic heroes who are already amazing and already have their own stories, getting even better. We saw it in Nakmud, and it is okay to have one upgrade for, like, your entire roster. I don't know if you want to get even better. What's the options? Nemesis, Champions. If during the battle one or more enemy characters were destroyed by an epic hero model, then you get more XP. All units in your Crusade army get more XP. Okay, so we're just continuing that. It seems so soon after Nakmud to be having another Crusade book. But this Crusade book might be like, hey, it's coming out in May. And it could be then. So we've got time with Nakmud. I haven't been like that thrilled with Nakmud. 6 of the missions were just redos of the past ones. But we'll see. So other ability is Inspirational Champions. If you're leading a unit, ignore battle scars. Yeah, we had that in Nakmud. That is exactly the same. I think they may be running out of ideas for Crusade things. If there's anything on the kill teams for the kill team Typhon, yeah, you've got your Prime, your Fell Talon, your fancy Ravenors. Yep, that's how they work in kill team. Oh, look at that, there's the Techno-Archaeologist miniature, which we've seen before. The Servitor Underseer, rather than Overseer. 2 gun Servitors, and a bunch of other Servitors. So you get a Servitor unit with generic Servitors. That may be not what the AdMech need, another little Horde unit for their already kind of Horde army. And you get some Termagants to have, hey, here's some little things running around. And then maybe the thing I'm most interested in is the next chapter approved mission deck, assuming I can get my hands on it somewhere. So no Codex Chaos Demons. No, they are not going to do a Codex Chaos Demons for this edition. There's going to be just the Index Demons, which has 6 detachments. Now updated rules. They've said they're going to put Karanak back in from Legends, back into the Index. Sure, I mean, it makes no difference to me. It's just which PDF it's in, where you find it. Yeah. Chaos doesn't sleep, so why should I? Yeah, we're past 3 AM now. I mean, I guess I expected it to go on 1 hour. But the thing I'm most looking forward to are the chapter-approved mission decks, which is going to have separate missions for 1,000 points. They worked okay, like in the Leviathan and then Rhinex's mission decks. They worked okay at 1,000 points. Having dedicated missions is good, and having it so this is like not symmetrical deployment zones is good. So 3 ways to play. So you can do 1,000 point incursion, 2,000 point strike force, or asymmetric war games, which is where you have the fancy deployment zones. And I keep pushing people towards Crusade because they have good maps. And hey, oh look, now the asymmetric war things are gonna be in your, what's it called? Matched play mission deck, which I guess is also, no, tournaments will probably modify it in an extra way and say, okay, no asymmetric things, and they'll kill all the fun. They'll put the fun in a bag, take the bag outside and beat it with a stick. That's how the tournaments work, all limitations. I'm going to some tournaments next month, but we'll see how they go. They might be amazing. They might be the worst tournament I've ever been to. It depends how many people play Daka Storm and the Daka Detachment, because it hasn't been banned at the tournament I'm going to, so we'll see if there's a patch, like, in the next week. I don't think there will be any patch to Daka. Right, secret missions are being replaced. They're replaced by new challenger cards. So, why are we disconnecting? Don't be disconnecting. There we go, we reconnected. Good. OBS is telling me to go to sleep. Yeah, so a victory points seem to be stuff like, okay, you complete the primary mission, that is 2 victory points. You complete the secondary mission, that is 1 victory point. Much like they did in the Nakhmud Crusade. So my video on the Nakhmud Crusade book thing, let me find that and I will stick that in chat. Where are you, Nakhmud Crusade thing? It was somewhere. I can't find it now. How long ago did it come out? Ah, here we are. They had the cool things about Deep Strike. Yeah. So if you want to watch a thing, there we go. There is my video on the Nakhmud stuff, which is like, it's going to explain some of the things like how you get victory points, how this comeback mechanic works. So the challenger cards are, hey, you know, you're going to have, oh, and it's optional. You got 2 options. Very nice. That is like Age of Sigmar Spearhead. Either you can score more victory points, or you get a special once per game ability, like stratagems. So in this case, it's like, hey, here's Force the Breach as a stratagem. It's free, and one of your units making a normal move or advanced move can move through enemy models and terrain features. That's going to be super important. It is any unit. So have a tank go through a wall, have a super heavy tank, have infantry go through enemy models, just rush through them. That can be very important for getting out of your deployment zone. So you'll have to be trailing by 6 victory points or more at the start of the battle round, so you'll probably only get them at the start of battle round 3, which is how it seems to be working most of the time in Nakhmud right now. I see from the asymmetric war map, one of the deployment zones has 2 objective markers in the defender's deployment zone. That's cool, because there's a bunch of rules are compatible with, like, hey, if you take 1 objective in the enemy deployment zone, you get some victory points. Or you're like Shadow in the Warp for the Chaos Demons. So yeah, you can get either, you get a card, and a challenger card means you can either have a free stratagem, or you can get some victory points. 1 unit from your army that's not within your deployment zone and within 9 inches of a battlefield edge, get 3 victory points immediately. Nice. So there's a comeback mechanic. There'll also be full-sized objective markers, made of flexible mat. Oh, you can buy them separately, can you? I recommend going through my affiliates for that. See, if you look in the description, I'm pretty sure that Fenris Workshop has some objective mats. Wargames Portal has them. I don't know if Gap Games or Firestorm Games have them, but I know the other 2 do. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Cathay stuff was good. I liked the Cathay stuff. That was probably the highlight for like Old World. And that is all of it. So we'll have more details on the chapter approved 25 to 26 mission deck, which suggests it's going to last all of the rest of the year. Because we had what? It was Leviathan 23 into about this time in 24. Then we have had Pariah Nexus for like, I guess we had Pariah Nexus for about a year. When did the Pariah Nexus mission deck come out? Pariah Nexus mission deck release date was June 24. So I'm guessing in 3 months' time, maybe this chapter approved mission deck. They couldn't give like a fancy name to it, but I'm better not to give it a fancy name, because then you do confuse, like, is it Leviathan the Crusade book? Is it Leviathan the starter set? Is it Leviathan the mission deck? So here's another set of expensive cards that'll be sold out immediately and you won't be able to get. That's the standard way. Okay, well, stream's over. This has been fun. I am going to go to bed now for sure. Thank you all very much for turning up, whatever time zone you're in. And do have a great day of 40k. Where's my tea?